Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And good afternoon, friends, and welcome into Memorial Gardens and a happy Super Bowl Sunday to all of the football fans out there as we get set for Battalion hockey here on the front line. Tonight, it's the Barrie Colts come trotting into North Bay to take on the North Bay Battalion. My name's Derek Lindemann, and you're watching the pregame show brought to you by...
The pregame show is brought to you by La Herda Imports, family owned and operated since 1995. Visit laherdaimports.com for more details.
And a happy Valentine's Day, as we're just 2 days away from February 14th. And if you still have not yet made plans for Valentine's Day, they still have spots available out at Average Joe's. You can make reservations there and come out and enjoy. They're going to have 10-ounce prime rib with a lobster tail that evening. Gary Davidson will be providing some live entertainment as he plays all of your acoustic favorites. It's going to be a great night, and your loved one will sure appreciate the efforts you put in. Well, Ben Sargent, 1-2 in the Central Division. The Barrie Colts currently only 6 points behind the North Bay Battalion. This is a big night as the Battalion, more like a 4-point game between these two teams, as you don't want to let the Colts get any closer.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. They played last night in Kitchener and ended up losing in overtime, but it was a game where they outplayed Kitchener in that hockey game, and a little disappointed that they weren't able to pick up the 2 points. They had a goal that ended up getting called back off of a video review, but I think this is a Barrie team. If you look at these two teams, Barrie is a team that has had success. They're 3-2 in their last 5, and they're playing very good hockey right now. And if you look at the Battalion, you could argue they're kind of having some struggles lately, especially when you look at the game they played against Sarnia, where if you've seen the thing that we've been seeing in the last month or so, month and a half, I guess, as we're almost already halfway through February, one of the things that we've been seeing is they've not played a good 60 minutes. We talk about it all the time. And it's the first half of that hockey game that really hurts them, and we saw that in Sarnia, against Sarnia, where they went down 1-0, then they tied it up, then they went back down 2-1, and it kind of got to a point where when it was 4-2 going in that third period, there wasn't really a chance for them to come back in that hockey game because they just didn't play a very good first half of that game.
And even though the Battalion have a winning record against the Barrie Colts, 3-1 in the 4 meetings so far, this is going to be the last time we see the Barrie Colts on home ice this year. 2 of those games have been won in overtime by the North Bay Battalion, and that included the last one back on December 18th. And that night, Kyle Jackson was the hero for the Battalion. So the Barrie Colts do play the North Bay Battalion a very difficult time.
Yeah, and again, that's what's kind of scary about this kind of game. If you're the Battalion, you are used to playing some of the weaker teams. Even the Kingstons, the Mississauga, the Hamilton, they are teams that are kind of further down. When you look at teams like Sarnia, who are much better than what their record portrays, Barrie's in that same world, in that same life. They just got one of our players, Watch, who we'll talk about a little bit later back, finally, has only played about 14 games. We'll talk about him a little bit later, but Barrie is a good team. Don't just look at the standings and say, well, they're in third. Barrie is a much better team than what they're looking for, and this should be a very good game here this evening.
Well, you brought it up. Why not look at our players to watch now, as they are brought to us by Mike, the financial advisor.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
So why not look at the 2 captains of these squads? First off, the captain of the Barrie Colts, like you said, only coming back after the World Juniors, 14 games since his return from the LA Kings, Brant Clark of the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, and you look at Brant Clark, and what a career this guy's had so far. 4th overall in 2019 in the OHL draft, and then he went last season, the 2021 draft, was 8th overall in the entire draft, which is very impressive. Went to the LA Kings, spent most of the first half of the season with the LA Kings, did pick up 2 assists, and then we talked about he went off and played for Team Canada, won a gold medal. He had a very good time in that tournament. 2 goals, 6 assists for 8 points, including an assist on the overtime gold medal winning goal.
Well, he didn't record a point last night. That was only the 3rd time in 14 games he's been held off the score sheet, and the North Bay Battalion are going to have to do that again tonight. I think that's one of the things they have to do to come out with a victory.
Yeah, 26 points in 14 games, 10 of those goals. So he's very much like a guy like Ty Nelson. He is a threat to score as well. He's not just a guy who goes out and gives up points and sets up plays. He's a guy that can put the puck in the net. So for Barrie, getting this guy back, it was very similar with Sarnia, with the guys that they've kind of picked up over the this course of the season, guys like Del Belbaluz and Pasajov and stuff like that made their team so much better. Barrie's kind of in that same spot. It was like getting Kyle McDonald back when the Battalion did right around the trade deadline. He's a huge part of this team. And, expect Barrie to be a much better team than what we've seen previously this season.
Yeah, a totally different team for the Barrie Colts. Our player to watch for the North Bay Battalion is the captain, Liam Arnsby. 4 points against the Barrie Colts in the first 5 games. He's 2-2. One of those was a game winner where he scored in overtime on October 23rd. So we need him to lead by his physicality, and that's what we need to see. This is only the 3rd game since he's returned from that lengthy illness.
Yeah, and you can tell his return has been big. We took 3 points in that first game against Kingston, held off the score sheet, only 2 shots on net in that game against Sarnia. But when you look at what Arnsby's brought in, number one, the fact that he's every single period, his line started the period off. So Ryan Houlihan has, that line is an impact line for the Battalion. But things are going to look a little bit different as we have a big person coming back in the lineup in Pasquale Zito finally making his return. And Ryan Houlihan's changed his lines up a bit, and their first line right now is Zito, Arnsby, and McDonald. So we'll kind of see Van Stiesel gets down into that 4th line with Procession and Terrian, as Bouchard is the odd man out of the lineup. But it's going to be very interesting with Jackson, Bloom, and Romani now slipping down into that 3rd line.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the lineup since you're bringing it up. We see Pasquale Zito coming back in after missing a couple of games with that ankle injury. He's going to slot in on the left wing side. Liam Arnsby will actually be on the center between Zito and Kyle McDonald. Interesting there is normally we see Kyle Jackson up on that top line, but we're going to see Arnsby this time as that center role. Can he keep up to the pace of the other 2 players?
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting because, again, with Zito, the other thing, too, is he's not playing center. Like, when he's been on this team, it's been centering that Petrov-Tarasevich line, right? So with him being on now on left wing, it's going to be interesting to see him in a wing position, see how he does. He's got a lot of speed, and I think that, it's going to be interesting to see. You talk about Arnsby, and is he going to be able to properly center this line with a lot of speed, a lot of kind of individual opportunities on either side of his wingers. It's going to be interesting to see what he does, but I think he plays a very good defensive centerman, and he does a lot of things outside of just the score sheet on a day-to-day basis that I think really helps the Battalion out.
And I really think with the combination of McDonald and Arnsby, that's going to be a lot of physicality out there on the ice at one time.
Yeah.
Due to that, that's going to create a lot of open ice for Pasquale Zito, who could use his speed and his skill to create scoring chances for himself.
Yeah, and we haven't seen Zito really be able to thrive with the Battalion. He's been good, but we haven't seen that extra thing that I think Adam Dennis saw when he made the original trade for him, and I think he was a little overshadowed by Petrov. Not that they didn't play well together, they played really well together, but I think by playing with a guy like Petrov, I think there was some hesitation with Zito a little bit where he wanted to try to set him up too much and there was too much passing in between them. And I think now we're going to be really able to see him in, as you said, in kind of a quicker role where he doesn't have to play a center role, which is a hard role to play. You're playing both sides of the ice constantly. You're in a system. You're playing kind of all over the place. You got to be you have to have a lot of endurance. You have to be kind of all over the place. So to let Zito just kind of stick on one side of the ice, I think it's going to be very interesting to see the kind of things that he's able to bring out.
As Zito moves up to the left wing spot, it's going to leave Dallin Wakely to center that line with the chemistry he's created with Nikita Tarasevich and Matvei Petrov.
Yeah, and Wakely's been kind of in that third line with Arnsby. He's been there with Van Stietzel. So he's played that kind of third line role, and I really like him with Petrov and Tarasevich because, again, he's a guy that plays the center position really well, and we've seen him play a lot of winger this season with kind of there's not really any there hasn't really been any center spots open. So we have, I think what he does really well in that Petrov and Tarasevich line is that he does a great support role. He gets into the high slot area. He gets those second chance opportunities. We saw that against Sarnia with Avery Winslow going through the crease of Ben Goudreau, and then it was Wakely right there, and I think that's something that the Battalion have struggled with, is crashing the net, picking up those rebound second chance points, and I think Wakely, what he's done well is he's taken advantage of some of those places, and he's already got 23 goals on the season, so every time he scores a goal, he's setting a new career high.
And what can you say about that third line? Jackson Bloom and Anthony Romani, that's some speed there and some skill also on that line. I want to see Josh Bloom picking up his game a little bit, more like what we saw when he first came over from the Saginaw Spirit.
Yeah, and he's still struggling, and we thought when he's finally scored, I believe it was against Mississauga a couple weeks ago, that he got 2 goals in 3 games. He was finally broken out of that 10-game scoreless drought and that slump, and he's kind of fallen back into it a little bit. And
the first ever hometown run for Youth Special Olympics in North Bay is happening on Sunday, May 7th. The goal is to raise money for local Special Olympic athletes to help cover the registration fees for the season. Register today at raceroster.com or find out more about the race on Facebook and Instagram.
Solid scoring chances.
One of the keys for the Barrie Colts we don't necessarily see on the ice surface is the coach GM Marty Williamson. He's one of these characters, been in the OHL for some time and really knows how to build a team and a winning team at that. He made some adjustments at the trade deadline. Besides getting Brant Clark back, they also went out and got defenseman Brendan Hosh from the Kingston Frontenacs. Marty Williamson puts a team on the ice that's going to compete game in and game out.
Yeah, exactly. And talk about Hosh, and he's playing on that top pairing with Clark. So they obviously have had some really great chemistry together as well. Very similar to how we saw Braden Hislop come over to kind of do that top line with Nelson. And as you said, Barrie's a team that's always, they never seem to be a team that's kind of out of the playoff picture or really kind of down there. They're kind of like a London, Windsor, those kind of teams that are always competing, and they're always a great team. And that's just, there's something that you have to learn in this league with the amount of turnover, and that's something that Barrie has done so fantastically.
So let's look at our goaltending matchup for tonight. Getting the start for the Barrie Colts, Ben West. He comes in with a 7-6-3 record, a 406 goals against average, and an 887 goal save percentage. Not the number one guy for the Barrie Colts. Anson Thornton did not make the trip, so Ben West getting the start tonight for the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, Thornton starting last night in Kitchener in a 4-3 overtime loss. West is kind of interesting. He's in his first season with the Colts, and he's found himself in 19 games. And I think he's played very, very well for Barrie. Again, Barrie's not a team that's going to stop you at the goal in the net. Like, yes, Thornton has been great, but they are a team that they are going to give up, 3-4 goals in a game. Their offense is really what kind of drives them in that. And I think that West has done a very good job in that kind of backup role, again, finding himself in about 19 games. And he's done a very good job, right around 4.0 goals against average. And he's really kept his team in games when he's had to.
And looking at the North Bay Battalion, head coach Ryan Houlihan knows the importance of this interdivisional matchup, as they don't want the Barrie Colts eking that much closer, as if that 2 points is a big deal in the standings. Dom DiVincenzo is getting the start for Houlihan and the North Bay Battalion.
Yeah, DiVincenzo is getting another start. Nothing super surprising about that, but we've seen him play quite a few starting games, including in back-to-back games. And the thing with Dom DiVincenzo that is interesting is he's coming off a game against Sarnia where he played well, but I think there were a couple of goals that were really well-shot goals, but beat him rather cleanly. And I think that in hindsight, he probably would have liked them back. But overall, his defense needs to play better in front of him than they did last game on Thursday night against Sarnia. So expect what you always expect from DiVincenzo. He's going to make the saves when he needs to make them, but he does need a little bit of help from his defense that he just did not get in the last game.
Yeah, he didn't get that in the last game, giving up 4 goals against a very powerful Sarnia Sting, who won that game 4-2. The next time the North Bay Battalion are on home ice will be Thursday as they take on the Erie Otters. It'll be Centurion night, as the Battalion will be sporting their white alternate jerseys with the Centurion tank on the crest. But that's Thursday night. We still got Super Sunday to do here at Memorial Gardens as the Barrie Colts come into town for the final time to take on the North Bay Battalion. When we return, Courtney Kenny will join Ben Sargent with all of your action here as it's Colts Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Good afternoon and welcome inside North Bay Memorial Gardens for North Bay Battalion hockey. It's a big one today between the North Bay Battalion and the rival Barrie Colts. I'm Courtney Kenny taking you along for this hopefully wild ride, fun ride for the North Bay Battalion on play-by-play, and he's Ben Sargent. Of course, you already know him from the pregame show with Derek Lindemann, who we will hear from between the benches at points during today's game. And then we also have Ben Long, our producer, who's along for the show. And Ben, I mean, you look at the standings and it just jumps out to you that this game is going to be a big one.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at almost every game outside of one where the Battalion kind of ran away with it, all of these games have been relatively close. Out of the three, Battalion right now 3-1 against Barrie on the season. Two of those games have been in overtime.
Yep.
So this has been a very close game. And you're Ryan Houlihan, you talked about this being an exciting game. I think he wants a non-exciting kind of blowout win, especially when you're considering they kind of got caught against Sarnia, right? They kind of did what they usually do. They didn't come out firing right out of the gate. They struggled a little bit. Sarnia took advantage of some of these mistakes. And the next thing you know, they're down 4-2 with a period to go, and they're not able to get anything going. So Houlihan said it was a really good game for them to understand they can't play that way anymore. And I think with the way that the lines have been changed up, with Zito coming back, interestingly enough, with Arnsby starting on the top line, they're going to start off with the Jackson Bloom-Romani line.
And here we are underway at North Bay Memorial Gardens. Barrie in their road whites are going left to right. The Battalion in their home greens are going right to left, and the puck is quickly up and into the Battalion bench and out of play.
Well, two guys you want to kind of take a look at with Barrie is going to be Ethan Cardwell, who's got 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists. He is also 20th right now in the overall scoring in the league. And Evan Verling, another one, same, 3 goals, 3 assists, and they're, along with Wiggle, make up that top line for Barrie.
It's a much different Barrie Colts team as the puck's going to go down to the Colts zone and not go for icing. It's a very different Barrie Colts team than this Battalion team have seen to this point, with Brant Clark coming back, of course. Kyle Jackson with a quick shot. This is the net back to Nelson with a shot, and it's kicked aside by West. Another chance with the rebound, and West scrambling in his crease here early as that Battalion opening shift looking very dangerous here against this Colts team. And now we'll see if indeed he does come over the bench. I do not see Brant Clark out there as of yet.
Well, speaking of Ty Nelson, he had the goal lead for defenseman. Finally got tied from Logan Mayu for the London Knights the other night, tying him up for goals. So Nelson might be wanting to try to get back on top of the scoring leaderboard there.
Nelson 1 goal away from passing Brandon Miller for the all-time single-season goal-scoring record for the North Bay version of the Battalion. Bobby Sanganidi having the all-time lead at 29. Nelson currently sits at 19, like you mentioned.
And he'll get there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 30 goals from him this season the way he's playing.
Oh, he's deadly for the Battalion. Christopoulos fans on his outlook pass, but McDonald can't keep a hold on it for the Colts. And the Battalion try to punch the puck out of their zone, but they can't. Frasca over to McDonald. McDonald's shot glove down by DiVincentis. So a bit of a pushback there from that opening shift for the Barrie Colts.
Well, one of the things that we saw there, that we seen against Sarnia did it, Mississauga did, there was a couple of pushing there between two players. But one of the things that we see is they were very aggressive in the forecheck. Barrie not as aggressive in the forecheck. If you want to make this team, if you want to make the Battalion make mistakes, you've got to play almost man-to-man right when they're in their defensive zone, and you can create a lot of mistakes, and we've seen that, especially early on in games.
Brant Clark now out there officially, and Ty Nelson going one-on-one with him, tries to get around the LA Kings prospect, who played a few games with the Kings this year. Pasquale Zito gets his first touch as well. Over to McDonald with a shot. That one's blocked by Clark. Arnsby with the sharp angle shot. That one just floats wide of the net. McDonald throwing his weight around, and now it's Brant Clark on the near side wall for Barrie. Clark quickly up ice for Cardwell. Cardwell flips it in, tries to get by Lucan. Nelson comes and picks it up, and now the puck's back out to the neutral ice area. 2 straight games here for the Battalion where they've been facing off against World Junior players. Ethan Del Mastro and Ben Gaudreau last week against the Thursday against the Sting. And now Brant Clark here with the Barrie Colts this Sunday. Ethan Procession comes in, steals the puck, loses it though, and the Battalion just flipped the puck right back down to the Barrie zone. Given away to Terrian. Jacob Terrian over to Procession. Procession with a chance. Terrian, they score! Jacob Terrian gives the Battalion a 1-0 lead here.
Well, Terrian, I believe that's going to be his 5th of the season for Jacob Terrian, and he had a slow start, and he was on the last, not the last podcast, but the podcast before we talked about him And here's a guy who scored a lot of goals in AAA U16, so he can put the puck in the net. This, though, is a lot of Ethan Procession. Does a lot of great job to set up that goal. And one of the things I wanted to say is Brett Bouchard's played very well with the Battalion their last few games, but with Zito coming back, he's now out of the lineup. So it'll be interesting to see how Romani works with this line. But again, Van Stietzel making things happen on every line he's on, it seems.
He does indeed, and they scored a goal here, obviously, as we just mentioned. Although I do have to give credit where credit's due to Terry, and also on Barrie that picking off the pass out of the zone, too. Jacob Terry, and he's going to be a player. They said he's going to be a fan favorite in his introductory press conference, and you can definitely see it there with his sandpaper style and also goal-scoring prowess. He scored 2 goals in his... And there's a big hit leveled there by Terrian and Connor Punnett. And there's just proving my point. Jacob Terrian, fan favorite here for the North Bay Battalion. You heard the reaction, too, when he got knocked down.
Well, I think the Barrie player is going to go off for...
Yeah, it's going to be Connor Punnett.
Roughing, I believe, is what they're going to call. Where they kind of collided with each other. He's not very happy with it. But, yeah, Terrian's a guy who, again, if you look at this, if you look at how their team's going to look like next year, it's going to be drastically different. A lot of overagers. You're going to lose some people. You could potentially lose guys like Petrov to some NHL play or something like that in the future. And Procession and Terrian are the big kind of, those are your future top 6 players. And, man, the way that Terrian has played, it's been really good. But
looks like
it'll be
well, Connor Punnett as Brant Clark is skating across, so now it's going to be 4-on-4, it looks like.
Oh, it looks like they're going to get another, the Battalion are going to get
it's going to be
a technical.
Yeah.
A bench minor here. Not too sure what
so
happened.
Liam Arnsby's going to go.
I don't know if we'll have to find out what happened, but very rare call that we see.
I have a feeling that the bench got a little, obviously, too mouthy with the referees.
And the fact that the Battalion have a 1-goal lead here, you're not too mad about that. But still, those kind of bench minors are not happy, and you know that Ryan Nolan, as a coach, you got to absolutely hate those, unless he was the one who did it, of course. But still, you take away a power play, and this Barrie team's a very good special team. They're 3rd in power play and 5th in penalty kill.
Top 10, where you want to see teams that consider themselves contenders. They want to be top 10 in both. Nelson battling with Clark. Sportsmanlike.
So it was Liam Arnsby, it looks like, who got...
No, he's serving it. There's a 0 on the board.
Oh, okay. They called it Arnsby, so...
Weird. I don't know why they wouldn't put an 11 up there. Interesting to be note, we've talked about this before, as a shot comes in and Divincentis covers it up. Connor Punnett from nearby Powassan.
Yeah, which is basically North Bay. I mean, it's the same as Corbeil and stuff. So
the same as Ben Gaudreau being in Corbeil.
He doesn't agree, but we'll call it the North Bay area. So
he's okay with that. He's okay with that.
It's a homecoming, essentially.
Yeah. Drafted by the Saginaw Spirit.
In my heart, he's a North Bay kid.
Zito out of his zone. Skates it through the neutral zone. Into the Colts zone. Takes a shot. That one's blocked by Clark. Zito now alongside the near side wall. Leaves it for Winslow. Winslow can't get to it. McDonald flips it over quickly. That's going to be Hache with it. Jelsma gains the Battalion zone. Leaves it for McDonald. McDonald taken into the boards by Petrov. Back to Akey. Akey looked cross ice for Clark. Clark thought about pinching but couldn't get to the loose puck in time and retreats. And now it's still back in the Battalion zone for Petrov. 50 seconds left on 4-on-4 hockey. And Matvey Petrov flips the puck up for Christopoulos. Christopoulos gains the Colts zone, leaves it there for Winslow. Winslow taken into the boards but flips the puck down, and now the Colts have possession below their goal line. It's going to be Cholak waiting for things to stop. 30 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Moves the puck up ice, flips it into the Battalion zone, and now battle for puck possession on the near side wall goes to Hislop. Hislop stops up, gives it to Jackson. Jackson decides to carry the puck instead of giving an outlet pass. He finally does to Nelson. Nelson skates the puck in over to McDonald. McDonald was thinking shot, couldn't get one to go. With 10 seconds left on this 4-on-4, he's on the far side wall skating around. McDonald cross ice to Hislop. Hislop in the Colts zone, leaves it for McDonald. Now we're back to 5-on-5. Punnett back out on the ice. Arnsby back out on the ice. McDonald with a shot. Missed the net. Hislop in deep for Tarasevich. Tarasevich can't handle that one, and Punnett gets the puck. Punnett flips the puck up, and now the Colts go down the ice 2-on-2. Ojwin leaves it for Savard, and now the puck's behind the Battalion's net, and Lukin flips the puck up near side to Tarasevic. Tarasevic out of his zone. Tries to flip the puck over for Romani. Romani runs over his man. And it was Kavanaugh that he ran over, but still can't get the puck now as the Colts have it once again behind their net. Carter Lowe with the puck. Just waiting for things to settle down here. Now up the ice for Cardwell. Cardwell gains the zone, looked cross ice, couldn't get a tip on net though, and now a secondary chance comes in from the Colts from the point, and it's turned aside by Divinchentis. Up for Romani. Romani flips it out. Good stick there by the Colts, disrupts that momentarily, but Lukin does get the puck up ice. Gives it to Wakely. In his skates, Tarasevic. Tarasevic back to the point quickly for Kennedy. It's tipped and it's scored. Dallin Wakely with the goal here puts the Battalion up 2-0.
Well, the Battalion a much better start to this game than what we saw versus Sarnia. Very similar to their start against Kingston. And Dallin Wakely, a beautiful tip from a point shot there as quickly up 2-0. But the big thing that we've seen in this hockey game is Barrie not being aggressive enough when the Battalion are in their defensive zone. They're giving them a lot of chances to really kind of control the puck. And right now they're just getting some great shots in on West.
So just want to quickly mention that Dallin Wakely's grandpa did give you a shout out before the game to say watch out for that hat trick today, and he's starting it off early.
He did. Papa Mike coming true, or looking like he's coming good with that one, because they've at least got, well, to be fair, he said, how's your voice going to feel after that second Wakely goal? And I said, well, second? What about a hat trick? That's how that came along. So 24th of the season for Dallin Wakely. He's halfway to there to what Papa Mike predicted. Battalion well offside, though, can't get onside. And now behind the net is Cholach.
And Wakely's played much better, I think. In that third line centering, he's looked a lot more impressive around the ice since Zito kind of is, now that he's back on the wing. But Wakely looking very impressive in the last 2 weeks.
Very impressive indeed. Procession knocked down. We're going to get a penalty there as the official down the ice calls the cross check on Procession. Not on Procession. The hit was on Procession. So the Colts will be going to the power play. And unless the Battalion have anything to say about it for real this time.
Yeah, unless, maybe the bench says something. But this is going to be interesting now. If you're Barrie, you're down 2-0 here very early on a couple of goals that really your defense, well, the first one, your defense kind of let you down if you're Ben West. And the second one, just a great tip from Dallin Wakely. And now there's a chance for the Battalion really to get ahead in the first 7 minutes and you go up 3-0. So this will be a big one again. Great penalty kill, 5th for Barrie.
5th in the league at 80.2% as the puck's down to the Battalion zone. Battalion have the number 10 ranked power play at 21.9%. They've given up 7 shorthanded goals, and Barrie scored 6 shorthanded goals. Also interesting to note coming into this game, Ben West, a .910 save percentage in the head-to-head matchup against the Battalion. So far, 2 goals on 4 shots, I would say is well off .910. McDonald is actually 50%. Look at that. Quick maths.
Always knew math would work out for you.
It is. Over to Nelson. Nelson's shot explodes his stick. And McDonald tries to wrap around. And West gets that one. Nelson teed up for his patented one-timer.
Well, Nelson is kind of the key to this power play. Him and McDonald, but the one thing McDonald does really well is he always stays right around one side of the net that Nelson's on as he picks up any rebounds that could possibly pop out. He did score a goal when they were in Mississauga like that. And really the key for this, again, for the Battalion is setting up that Nelson one-timer and then any sort of rebounds, anything off the backboards, taking advantage of that.
Quick shot off the face-off by Jackson's turned aside by West. Petrov walks the line. Flips it back to Bloom. Bloom in for Jackson. Back to Petrov. Petrov walks in, takes a shot. West looked behind him, but it missed the net entirely. And now it's in for Bloom. Bloom loses it, and now the Colts go the other way, as that's going to be Vierling and Akey. Akey out front. Tries to get a chance. Turned aside by Divinchentis as he was in alone for a moment there. And now the Battalion look to regroup. Nelson slashed up. No call coming on that one. And now it's back to Jackson. 30 seconds left on the man advantage. McDonald Looking up ice, decides to skate it into the Colts zone. Powers his way through, takes a shot. Saved by West. Romani can't get the rebound. And now it's up quickly to Vierling. Vierling flips the puck in. Cardwell chases after just out of his reach, and then they try to throw it on net. 15 seconds still remain on the man advantage. Winslow stops up in his zone. Turns around behind his net. 8 seconds remain. And now it's Winslow leaving it for Zito. Zito for Wakely. Wakely can't get past the Colts bench, though. And now we're back to 5-on-5 as Frasca rejoins the fray. Winslow keeps his man away from getting around him, and now it's back to the point for Punnett. Punnett takes a shot, they score! And the Barrie Colts have the lead with the hometown kid, Connor Punnett. That's got to be his first here in North Bay.
Yeah, from a North Bay native, as we would say here. What a shot from Punnett, though. Not necessarily a very hard shot, but he goes with the wrister that just is the perfect, very similar to the Ty Nelson power play goal that we saw a few weeks ago, where he goes right underneath that crossbar, right above the trapper's blocker side, of DiVincentis. And it's kind of interesting because the Battalion have played a little bit sloppier in the last few minutes as they've given a couple of great opportunities to the Barrie Colts, and that's when I think DiVincentis, it was a hard one to save, but probably would have liked that one back at the end of the day. Connor Punnett with his 12th goal of the season. Having a really good, productive year there for the Barrie Colts. Van Steensel tries to flip the puck up, but instead it's going to be kept in. Hislop knocks down his man, and now it's back into the Battalion zone deep. Procession battling with Terrian. Procession flips the puck up ice. And now Clark just sends it right back into the Battalion zone. DiVincentis plays it for Hislop. Hislop twisting and turning up the ice for Van Steensel. Van Steensel regroups the puck in his own zone, gets it to Wakely. Wakely spinning around, flips the puck down, and then thought about chasing after it, but the Colts are going to get to that one first. They're going to flip it cross ice for Clark. Clark gives it to Hache. Now Punnett, the goal scorer, out on the ice. West plays it to Punnett. Punnett flips the puck up quickly. That's going to be Ty York with the puck. Flips it over to Clark. Clark takes the shot, and he just missed the side of the net. Now it's up to Lucan. Lucan tries to get it past Clark. They do, but not out of the zone, as Lowe keeps it in. Back to the point for Punnett. Punnett goes cross ice, gives it to Petrov. Now the Battalion on the transition here. Petrov takes a shot, stopped by West. Going the other way now is York. Or quickly down the ice. There's no police jokes coming today, I promise you, Ben. Thank God.
Punnett flips the puck in, knocked down by Wakely. Wakely looks up to Zito. Zito flips it down for McDonald to chase after. McDonald wins the puck battle. Still battles along the boards, though, as he skates the puck around on the near side wall. Tries to get around his man, but can't. And now it's flipped down to the Battalion zone. Jelsma and Nelson in a foot race. Left for Winslow. Winslow up for McDonald. McDonald looks down the ice. That's going to go for icing, however. And that'll bring us to our mid-period break here on the front line. Battalion lead 2-1 here. Just over 11 minutes into this period. And as for us, we'll be back on the other side of this.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the alumni job portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
And we welcome you back on the Frontline Game Day broadcast. I'm Courtney Kenny, pleased to be joined by Ben Sargent. And of course, Derek Lindeman, who's down between the benches. And Derek, before we get to anything serious with the Battalion, who are you taking tonight in the Super Bowl?
I'm taking the Chiefs. Let's go with the Chiefs, 27-24.
27-24, you heard it here first, folks. Patty Mahomes getting his second Super Bowl ring. Derek Lindeman has never led us astray ever. Derek, it's a bit of a tighter game than I thought that it looked like it was going to be in the first 5 minutes. It's 2-1 right now. How's the temperature between the benches?
You can really tell that this is an interdivision rivalry. Things are heating up early on between the two benches, and the coaches, this is the most vocal I've heard anything from head coach Ryan Newellhand towards his teammate or his team. They know how the importance of this game is, and it's really showing on the ice. Both teams are laying it out there tonight.
Before we let you go, Derek, I got to ask you, when the Battalion took that penalty for unsportsmanlike with Arnsby, did you hear any of what was going on there?
I can't tell you what Arnsby was saying, but I can tell you that the ref said to Arnsby, "You've got to be bigger than that, Captain."
Oh, interesting to know for sure. Thank you very much, Derek. We do appreciate it. We'll hear from you more as the game goes on. As the Battalion take a quick shot, McDonald behind West, digging at it. Can't get it to go, though, however, and West is going to cover that one up, so we'll get another stoppage here.
That's actually a really good point by the referee as well. When you talk about that as Arnsby being the captain, he also took kind of a bad penalty against Sarnia as well, where you really didn't need to make penalties. And that's some of the small things that Arnsby does a lot of great things for this team, but those are the kind of small things you got to be, when you wear the C on your chest, you got to be a little bit more aware than that and not take these kind of small bench minors. And right now the Battalion have been the better team in this hockey game, but Barrie has looked very good in the last 4 minutes.
Quick shot off the draw by Zito, off the win by Arnsby. Worked to perfection for the troops, minus the fact that he found padding on the goaltender instead of twine behind him. And that's something that we've talked about before, is that Arnsby, even last year, would take a lot of penalties that were kind of heat-of-the-moment penalties that you need them to calm down a little bit with.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is like these guys are younger, so they're going to make some of these more emotionally charged penalties that you're not going to see in like the NHL or like older leagues. And being a captain, one of those things is maturity, and sometimes you just got to know when to, not say anything.
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Okay, Kenny Rogers.
we're still gonna get music jokes.
You don't know that
here.
many songs by him.
No,
so
I don't. I don't. You're safe. You're safe. Although I know it is tattooed on your arm. So, Bloom fakes the pass, loses the puck slightly, flips it in. Now the Battalion battling forward in the near side corner. Romani finds Bloom. Bloom flips it back for Hislop. Hislop over to Christopoulos. In for Jackson. Jackson turns and shoots. It's blocked. Back to Christopoulos at the point. Takes another shot. It's tipped and just goes over the net, although West did get a piece of that one. Over to Hislop. To Christopoulos. Winds up. Fires. West stops that one with his shoulder, and he'll cover that one up with 7:03 left in the first period. Battalion looking like they're starting to buzz again here.
Yeah, and West has looked pretty solid in this game outside of the times where either there was a tip-in by Wakely or his defense kind of left him out to dry. But all these shots from the point, you're going to have to make a move east to west. You're going to have to start getting guys in front, getting some of those tips. Christopoulos' shot, if you get somebody in front there looking for rebounds, that's going to be the key. And again, with Barrie, they had a huge goal by Connor Punnett earlier on. And 36 points, 12 goals and 37 points for Punnett, as he has been a huge part as a defenseman for this Barrie team.
Really kind of carrying the load from the defensive side without Connor Punnett so far this year. Or, I mean, not Connor Punnett. Brant Clark. Yeah, that's the name I was looking for. Although Clark, impressively, 26 points in 14 games since he came back. Although I guess when you go and play some games with the Kings and then the World Juniors, as Kennedy levels his man down on the far side. And now Punnett from the neutral zone slaps that in on DiVincentis, who covers it up and then lets it go for Kennedy to pick it up.
And Kennedy had kind of a tough game against Sarnia as he made a pinch that caused a goal, and he's looking to have a good game here.
Terrian walks around, and now there's a penalty coming. Looks like Terrian's going to go. Terrian was just trying to walk around his man and got a shot away and just missed the net, but now the Battalion will find themselves penalized here with Jacob Terrian.
I think they're going to call it 4 minutes for a high stick, as it must have drawn blood there, as he must have gotten his stick up, which is weird because usually I didn't really see the second part of the high stick. Usually when you shoot or you make a play with your stick that it directly involves the puck, it's not a penalty. So, or sometimes it is. It depends on the league too, but
interesting either way. The Battalion do have the top-ranked penalty kill, though, at 86.8%. They have 13 shorthanded goals for, and the Colts have the third-ranked power play at 24.1%. They've given up 7 shorthanded goals, however, as we'll get a face-off here. So the double minor, the Battalion quickly clear the puck down the ice. West out to play it. 10 seconds gone. Double minor for high sticking. Brant Clark to Vierling. Vierling gains the zone, loses it. Arnsby tries to flip it out, can't. And now Van Steensel has the puck. Again, just throws it down the ice for West, who drops it and leaves it for Clark. Clark behind his net. Looks up ice. Just flips it up to Frasca. Frasca loses it. Van Steensel just going to get to that puck at the blue line and knock it down the ice. 3:20 remaining on this double minor. Clark from his own zone. Flips the puck over for Jelsma. Jelsma flips it in. Clark pinching in. Taking hard in behind the boards, but now the Colts pick up the puck and flip it back to Clark behind the net, but leaves it for Frasca. Frasca tries to find Clark. He does on the near side or far side wall. Puck now into the middle, back to Clark at the wall. Clark flips the puck in, takes the shot, and that was turned aside by DiVincentis. Another chance, goes cross ice. Another chance, puck is sitting there, and now it's quickly back. Another chance there by Jelsma. The Battalion are screaming for something, but they get the puck down the ice quickly. Anyways, as the puck was just sitting there, hairy moments there. Bloom now tripped up, and that's going to be a penalty against the Colts. So we'll get 4-on-4 action for the next 2 minutes here, and the Colts will get another 32-second power play.
Yeah, and kind of interesting with Bloom there as he
it's going to be Brant Clark going to the box, too.
Yeah, so Bloom goes out there, had almost a chance going to breakaway, but obviously after that penalty kill, didn't have a lot of gas left in the tank. And what you can do by creating those offensive chances, it can force you as a defending team, in this case Barrie, to make some bad plays, and Clark gets a stick right in the feet of Josh Bloom. And now, as you said, it's going to be a 4-on-4, and then Barrie's going to have 32 more seconds on that double minor to Therrien.
Petrov. Battalion as quickly out front to Jackson, can't find the back of the net. That was a good no-look pass there by Petrov. Jackson just tried to bury it over to the blocker side. But moments ago, just before that other one, right in front of DiVincentis, things got a little bit hairy.
Yeah, there was a puck right there, and the thing too, with 25 seconds still left on the clock, if they would have scored there, they still would have had another penalty to kill off. So if you were going to give up a power play goal, that would have been the absolute worst time for that to happen.
Winslow winning the foot race with Cardwell. Now he flips it up quickly to Jackson. Jackson back through the neutral zone over to Petrov. Petrov, cross ice, tries to find Jackson. Jackson can't shovel it on net. And now it's to Cholach, who gives it to Akey. Akey, up ice to Cardwell. Cardwell. Minute 25 remain on this 4-on-4. Cardwell pushing, to the net. And DiVincentis covers that one up. So we'll get another stoppage here. Shots on goal currently 10-8 in favor of the Battalion, and the score is also 2-1 in favor of the troops.
Well, if you watched the post-game cut that you got with Ryan Houlihan, one of the things he said is they didn't play a very good system game against Sarnia. And what that means is when you, in a system, everybody has a place to be on the ice at all times. And in this game so far, people are where they're supposed to be. They're not kind of deviating from that, and it can create a lot of issues, especially when you expect somebody to be somewhere having a defensive position or offensively, and it can cause some issues, but today playing much better.
Kavanaugh leaves it out front. Zito to Hache. Hache with the shot, blocked aside by DiVincentis. Now it's over to Hislop. Zito picks it up in his own zone. Goes for a skate. 58 seconds remaining on this 4-on-4. Zito gains the Colts zone, gets around Hache, and now just decides to go for a skate while he's being harassed by a Colts player there, and that's Hache still on him. Puck comes out to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh looks up ice, gets it to Frasca. Frasca tries to get around Hislop. Hislop takes a high stick, no call coming on that one. And now McDonald with the puck as the troops reset. McDonald up to Zito. Zito to McDonald. McDonald tries to power his way through two Colts, can't. And now the Colts regain possession in their own zone. To Akey. Akey gains the Battalion zone. Gets around one, goes to Vierling. Vierling with a shot that might have not come off the stick as hard as DiVincentis anticipated, but he still made the save. Battalion are about to go back on the penalty kill here as Clark's about to come out. Clark out of the box, so now 30 seconds remain on the Therrien double minor. And now Cholach has it, gives it to Clark. 20 seconds. Clark up the ice. Looks for some options, leaves it for Cardwell. Cardwell into the Battalion zone. Loses it though, and that's going to be Jackson or Lucan who just sends the puck down the length of the ice, killing off likely what remains of this Therrien penalty. 2:30 here remain in the first period. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Clark skates down into the Battalion zone. Stops up on the far side. Taken into the boards there by Hislop. Tarasevich battling for it. Now it's out front And Wakely gives it to Terrian, but Terrian couldn't handle the pass, so the Colts just flipped the puck back down to the Battalion zone for Hislop to collect. Hislop coming out from behind his net. Gets it to Petrov. Petrov flips the puck down the ice. Akey fielded that one and sent it towards his bench before he picked it back up. Now Hache has it. And they try to get the puck up ice, but Petrov stopped that one momentarily before the Colts regain the Battalion zone with Wiggle. Hislop tries to give it. His pass just goes right out front. Right in front for the Colts as it hit a body. It was almost gift wrapped in front for Barrie, but they couldn't handle that one, and Divinchentis got over in time to stop it. Now, with a minute 20 left in this period, the Battalion are kind of reeling in their own zone a little bit. Rizolia out front, his pass picked off by Petrov. Petrov behind his net flips the puck down the ice, gets it to Tarasevic. Tarasevic sends the puck in, and West has to play it. Coming up on the final minute here in the first period. Shots on goal are 11-10 in favor of the Colts. Akey over to Cardwell. Cardwell flips the puck in. Divinchentis stops it up, and then he throws it. And now a quick chance there for the Colts, literally by Quick. But he throws the puck on net, and it's going to hit a stick and go out of play.
Well, Divinchentis is a really good goaltender when it comes to handling the puck outside of his net. And unfortunately there he kind of goes and plays it when there's about 3 Colts around, and he has to quickly get rid of it. And basically gives it away to Quick, and almost he's able to get back in position, but almost gave them a glorious opportunity there. And always a funny highlights to see when that kind of stuff happens, and very unfortunate if you're on the opposite end of that.
It's funny if you're not cheering for the team in green.
Yeah.
Clark flips the puck in on Divinchentis. He's just going to leave it there for Nelson. Nelson to Christopoulos. Christopoulos flips it out. Can't get his pass to go through, though. And now the Colts with possession in the Battalion zone again, flipping around behind the net. Romani in a foot race there with Hache. Hache's going to get to it first, throws a sharp angle shot in on net. And now Romani at the near side wall loses it. Good chance here for Hache. Scores! That's low over top of the glove side of Divinchentis. And you can only play with fire for so long if you're the North Bay Battalion.
Well, that's going to be Lowe's 3rd goal of the season. He's only got 4 points now. As again, that's one where if there have been a couple of pucks that have beaten Divinchentis in the last couple of starts up high in the corners, and that was just a really good shot. And I don't think if Divinchentis really saw that one super cleanly, as he wasn't able to get his glove up in time. But either way, if you're in North Bay, you've played really well for most of this period, and there have been, I wouldn't even say Punnet's goal was really bad. It was just that's a play where you have to get the puck out of your zone, and now if you're Barrie, you're kind of given a great chance to go into the break here tied.
Well, I've heard from Ryan Houlihan previously that last-minute goals or first-minute goals are the worst to give up. And it's hard to disagree with that as a Battalion, who were going to go into the break up 2-1, are now going into the intermission tied at 2, when early in the period it looked like they might walk away with it.
Yeah, early in this game, it really felt like the Battalion, actually before Punnett was scored, I was going to say the Battalion are playing a very comfortable game right now. They're really all over Barrie. Not a good first period for Barrie, in my opinion. I don't think they were aggressive enough against the Battalion. They gave them a lot of room and a lot of ice to skate around and control the puck. And yet still they come away with 2 points on goals that maybe Divinchentis would have liked to have back, but at the end of the day, they were still like a goal scorer's kind of shot. So you can't be too mad about that. But either way, I think it's one of those games where the Battalion played well, but their mistakes came back to haunt them in the form of a tie game now.
Well, we'll have to see what is in store here for the second period, but of course we will have our first intermission show here with Derek Lindemann and Ben Sargent on the other side of this. I'm Courtney Kenny, he's Ben Sargent. As always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canador's alumni office. Visit canadorcollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back inside North Bay Memorial Gardens as we've reached the first intermission. 4 goals in that first period as each team struck twice. Let's take a look at the scoring now in that first period. First off, Jacob Terrian got the Battalion on the board, his 6th of the season from Ethan Procession. That coming at 2:14 of the first period. And then at 6:04, Dallin Wakely made it a 2-0 game with his 24th of the season from Tara Savage and Kennedy. And then the Barrie Colts struck for 2 goals. The first one coming at 8:56 by Connor Punnett, 12th of the season from Cole Baudouin. And then Carter Lowe in the dying seconds at 19:38, his 3rd of the season, tied up the score. Brandon Hash with the assist on that goal. A few penalties coming in that first period. Connor Punnett for roughing at 2:47, also at 2:47. Liam Arnsby went off for unsportsmanlike conduct. Then at 6:46, cross-checking was called against Jacob Faska. Jacob Terrian took a double minor for high sticking at 13:34. And finally, Brant Clark went off at 15:02 for a trip. Shots on goal in that first period, the Barrie Colts 13, the North Bay Battalion 10. Neither team capitalizing on the man advantage as the Barrie had 2 opportunities. The Battalion got 1. That is all the report of that first period. Let's take a look on this Sunday around the afternoon games of the OHL. Just after 1 period in Kingston, the Frontenacs and the Niagara Ice Dogs are tied at 1. The Sudbury Wolves are in Oshawa this afternoon, a rare Sunday afternoon there in Oshawa as the Wolves lead the Generals 1-0 after 1 period. Late in the first period in Peterborough, the Guelph Storm have a 2-1 lead over the Peterborough Petes. An identical score in Sioux Greyhounds as it's the Sarnia Sting leading the Greyhounds 2-1 after 20 minutes of play. Well, let's welcome back in Ben Sargent. The Battalion got off to that start we wanted. 2 goals early on, just weren't able to hold on as the Barrie Colts came back with 2 of their own.
Yeah, I thought they played a very good first period for the most part. They had a couple of times where they couldn't get the puck out of their net. They looked a little sloppy in that kind of high slot area in their own zone where they gave a couple of great opportunities. And if you look at the 2 Barrie Colt goals, they were both very good shots. You look at Connor Punnett, who just went top shelf right underneath the crossbar. And then you look at Lowe again, his shot going over the glove side of DiVincentis, who I don't think really saw that puck as he didn't get his glove up in time, just his arm. And I think this was a period where if you're the Barrie Colts, they weren't aggressive enough, in my opinion, against the Battalion. They were giving them a lot of ice. They were giving them a lot of opportunities to move the puck around, create a neutral zone game. That's something that Sarnia didn't allow them to do. So I don't think it was their best period, but they still only gave up the 2 goals. I think they played well defensively in their own zone, and more importantly, they took advantage of a couple of sloppy plays by the Battalion in their offensive zone. And it could be a bit of a higher score if a couple of those opportunities went past DiVincentis. Of course, there was the one where he was sprawled, where the puck was sitting in the crease, nobody around it that they were able to clear. But I think overall, for the most part, I say 90% of that period, the Battalion were the much better team, and they played really well. But about 10%, they just kind of struggled a little bit.
Yeah, I found they sometimes struggled on the back end. You could really hear Ryan Houlihan giving it to his teammate, or to his players, after that Connor punted goal, as there was a missed pickup at the blue line leading up to that goal. Couple injury notes too for the Barrie Colts. Connor punted after taking that high stick, was last seen going to the dressing room, followed by Dr. Rick Delisle of the North Bay Battalion. He's going to require a couple stitches to repair a gash just above his nose there. And then Tyler Savard, after taking that hit, sat on the bench for a little bit, then decided to go down, and he was walking gingerly down the hallway, making his way back to the Barrie Colts. So that's a defenseman and a forward currently out for the Barrie Colts. It's going to be interesting to see how Williamson juggles his lineups in the second period, and how long Savard will be out of the lineup for in this game.
Yeah, I expect Punnett to be back right at the start of the period. Once he gets stitched up, I don't think that. But yeah, as you said, Savard, it's going to be very interesting to see if he comes back, of course, on that third line right now. And I think for Barrie, again, they kind of survived that first period, but I don't think they played their best game, and I think if you're the Battalion, you have to be worried about an aggressive start to the period from the Barrie Colts. And I think if I was the coach there and I'm in the dressing room in Barrie, I'm sitting there saying we got to be more aggressive. We have to force the issue a little bit more, especially when the Battalion had the puck around their blue line, in their defensive zone, in the neutral zone, and not give these easy opportunities. Other than that, I thought West looked well. Ben West looked good in net as well, but where he struggled was, again, when the Battalion moved the puck east to west, when they got traffic in front, and I think that's something the Battalion are going to have to do to generate some more offense.
And talking about that east to west movement, I really like the effort Jacob Therrien had on that first goal. He's a young kid, could have stayed it away from the net, knowing that the puck was kind of on the other side of the ice, but no, it's his attitude. He goes right to the front of net, to that blue paint, and he got rewarded because the puck came through, and he was able to put that into the yawning cage. And then what a tip by Dallin Wakely, the hand-eye coordination, tipping that from just about knee height and putting it past kind of the opposite side that Ben West was going. Two really good goals by hard workers on the Battalion side.
Exactly, and you talk about Therrien crashing the net, trying to create opportunities. Dallin Wakely's the same kind of guy who did that. That's how he scored against Sarnia after Winslow crashed the net. And I think that's something that Therrien did really well. Therrien did a great job starting that play. Procession did a really good job kind of creating that opportunity, that open net for Therrien. And I was very impressed with how that fourth line played again with Van Stietzel. Unfortunately for Bouchard, who's played well, he's kind of the odd man out. But I think overall that fourth line, again, like Therrien, I think is a guy who's going to end the year with more than 10 goals, at least double digits in goals. And also talking about Pasquale Zito, I think he had a couple of really good opportunities in that first period as well, playing with Arnsby and McDonald.
Yeah, and I really thought I was kind of questioning how the speed of Pasquale Zito would be after coming back from that ankle sprain, and he doesn't look like he lost a step. He fit right back in there. And that's just what it takes to stay at this level, is he's put in the effort to stay up there even though he's dealing with an injury, and he looks just like he did before he left the lineup.
And I think that he kind of reminds me a lot of a Tarasevic, where he has a lot of speed. He's kind of a smaller guy, but he's more of a finesse guy, where you look at guys like Arnsby and Therrien, and they're going to play out the body. They're not quite as fast, but they're going to play more physically. They're going to play bigger than how they physically are. And when you look at Zito and Tarasevic, they are smaller guys who are very fast. We see Tarasevic all the time on the penalty kill, getting these breakaway opportunities. We saw Zito on the penalty kill earlier as well, in that same kind of situation. But what I think Zito can really thrive is if you're playing a dump and chase kind of style, and you're able to get Zito to break in, win those puck battles around where the goal line is, and set things up for McDonald. I think that can be very good, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Zito pick up quite a few assists playing with McDonald.
Yeah, you've seen McDonald get a couple open looks from that slot area, just unable to bury it as he's trying to put it low, and unfortunately West making a couple big pad saves there against McDonald. The other big news today is Super Bowl Sunday. The big game going on later tonight, 6:35 kickoff. It's the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, Ben, I got to ask you who you're taking in that contest.
That's tough. I'm not a big football guy. I'm a Seahawks fan, so I haven't really paid attention too much outside of that. But both teams look very good. Just because you took the Chiefs, I'm going to take the Eagles.
Oh, thanks a lot.
If you're betting, just don't bet whatever Derek says because he's not very lucky when it comes to that. So.
Hey, I've been doing well with my players to watch. Neither one has scored today yet, but they've been both in the penalty box at the same time even as Clark and Armsby taking those penalties. Halftime show, Rihanna. Are you excited for those 13 minutes?
The last one was good. I don't know. I'm not a big Rihanna fan either, so I don't know if I'm sure it will be visually spectacular.
Well, she had a child back in March of last year, so it's been a while since she's been on stage, so it's just interesting to see if she's back up to performance quality that we've seen before.
Well, it gets rehearsed so much that they always do like really cool things with the halftime show like we saw last year and a couple of years. For the last few years, they do a couple of things, so it'll be, is she the only performer?
So far, that's the only word out there. Usually there is some surprise guests. She did say she'd go through her library of songs, though, in 13 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll see. I don't know. I only know, like, one song by her, and that was, like, 15 years ago, I think.
And I don't even know who's singing the national anthem this year, but there is prop bets out there for how long the song will go, whether coin toss will be heads or tails. Supposedly the odds are tails. It's come out up 62% of the time over the time that they've been tracking it. So if you want, go tails on the heads tails prop bet, but I don't know. I try and stay away from all that stuff and get sucked in that. And now you can do it like right up to it, right on your phone.
Yeah.
You see all the ads around, even within this building, the Bet River ads on the sideboards. It's everywhere now in the society.
They had betting on the presidential election. You could bet 365, I think.
Do you think they'll have betting on the mayoral race in Toronto now?
Who knows? Who knows?
You can always find a good bet out there, but we're moments away still from puck drop. Expectations in the second period. Do the Battalion have to make any adjustments?
Outside of a little bit of sloppy play, trying to get the puck out of their zone, which is something they've struggled with lately, I don't think so on the offensive side of things. I think it's mostly just not giving those opportunities to Barrie in the defensive zone. But they could definitely play a little bit better. Again, what I find is they're trying to get the puck into the neutral zone. Some of their passes just aren't crisp. They're too far for the intended players, so they're not able to get it cleanly. They're not able to get these clean breaks out of the zone, and that's something. But again, it's going to come down. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Barrie comes out and play. If they're going to play a tighter game, where they're going to be more aggressive, because when the Battalion, for instance, when the Battalion have the puck in their defensive zone right around the circle, the Barrie players will be right around the blue line. They won't really pinch in. They won't really make them make a pass. They'll kind of just let them skate around with the puck a little bit and almost make like a wall for them to try to pass. What Sarnia did, and Mississauga did this very well, was that they went right in and they forced these the Battalion defensemen to make these split-second plays. The other thing that I noticed too was there were a couple of times, especially on the power play, where you had a Nelson or whoever the defenseman was pinching in a little bit, and when they came up 2-on-1 shorthanded, there wasn't a good enough defensive back check for the Battalion, and there were a couple of great opportunities in the high slot where they had one-on-one against DeVincentis.
Well, the Battalion only have one home game next week, and that is Thursday night. The Erie Otters will be in town to take on the North Bay Battalion. It'll be interesting to see the return of Stan Butler in behind the bench of the Erie Otters.
Yeah, and Butler, again, whether you like him, you hate him, whatever the case may be, he's done a lot for this franchise ever since it was in Brampton. He built a lot of these great teams. He's coached a lot of these great teams. Again, when you talk about how good the team was when they first came over, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting to see what people say when he comes back.
Well, it will be exciting, but there's still 40 minutes left in this game as we're deadlocked at 2 as you are watching Colts Battalion here on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
And we welcome you.
Special time.
Fired.
Fired.
Fired. It's 2 days in a row now. Ben Long has been fired from the broadcast. You're starting to get up there to Derek Lindemann levels here. I'm Courtney Kenny. He's Ben Sargent. And Ben, I have to admit, I'm a little bit disturbed that you don't know anything about Rihanna.
Stop.
That's okay.
As long as it rains, I'll have my umbrella. So
that's about all I got
too.
So
Song I know.
And last year's halftime show was great. It was all the old rap stars from, our childhoods and stuff. But here we are with Rihanna, and no disrespect to her, just not as much pizzazz in my mind. Here is David Chedna says we're back underway into the second period. 2-2 is the score between the Battalion and the Colts. And the Colts and their road whites are going right to left. The Battalion and the road greens are going left to right in this period. As it's Jackson in his own zone, cross ice for Nelson. Nelson up the ice quickly for McDonald. Bloom rather, flips it in as we see Van Steensel now up on that line. Start the second period to Nelson. Nelson flips it in. That one was blocked by Jackson. A little bit of friendly fire there. Hislop takes a sharp angle shot. Tries to shovel it back on net. Can't get it to go. Now it is in front. And now it's Hislop that comes away with it again. Tries to get it back to the point. Loses it. Bloom picks up the loose puck. And now Bloom's along the far side half wall. Bloom. Back to Van Steensel. He tries to turn around and give it to Bloom, and he does. Now it's to Jackson. Jackson's quick shot. And West had to be strong on that one, stopping that one up on a good chance there by the Battalion.
Yeah, we talked about the struggles of this kind of Jackson and Bloom line. On 5-on-5, they just haven't been able to get the puck, put the puck in the net. And a lot of the points that, especially for Jackson, are coming off on the power play or when he just happens to be on the ice without his main line. And finally able to put some really good pressure on West, but again, they've got to start moving him a little bit more east to west and find a way through that kind of high slot defense that the Barrie Colts are putting out there.
Wakely out there to take the offensive draw here for the troops. Connor Punnett, I know Derek was talking about him in the intermission. He is back out there. Now another chance there by the Battalions, kicked aside by West. Wakely on the far side corner. Now gets it back to Winslow, who flips it in. Wakely battling. Tarasevich gets the puck, loses it to Punnett though. And Kavanaugh flips the puck up, and now the Colts are coming out of their zone. Jelsma couldn't hold the puck as it was in his feet. And the puck's right back down to the Barrie zone with Kavanaugh in possession, up to Jelsma again. Jelsma once again, another chance in his feet. And it bounces off his skates, and now it's up to the Battalion for a quick 2-on-1, but Wakely's pass to Tarasevich couldn't go. Now it's Winslow with a chance. Winslow, two opportunities. The first was blocked, second one saved by West on the toe. Winslow behind the goal line for the Battalion, up to Petrov. Petrov skates around behind the Colts net. Looking for options. Skates around, looks to take a shot. That one's blocked in front. Now Wakely will be the first one on it. Flips it behind the net again for Petrov. Petrov looking for Tarasevich out front. Can't get it to go. Now it's Tarasevich on the far side corner. Tarasevich skates around the zone. Looking for some options, gives it to Zito. Zito flips it back to the point, but no one was there. So the Battalion will have to go and pick up the puck in their own zone. 2.5 minutes gone here in this second period. All deadlocked at 2. And Zito flips the puck into the Colts zone for Clark to go and get. Arnsby hammering Clark. Now it's McDonald on the far side wall. McDonald looking out front for Nelson. Looking for the tip there, couldn't get that one, and now the puck's back down to the Battalion zone with a good bit of speed here by Wiggle. And Nelson gets the loose puck to Zito. Zito up to McDonald. McDonald's chance knocked aside, and Clark sends the puck up for Cardwell and sends it right back for Hash. Up to Clark. Clark to Cardwell. Quickly in the Battalion zone. Cardwell cross ice to Wiggle. Wiggle just dumps the puck in deep for Veerling. And now since Clark was changing, the puck comes out to Cholach in the neutral zone. Cardwell in his own zone with the puck. Looks up ice, gets it to Wiggle. Wiggle tips the puck and then immediately goes off for a change. And so that's Lucan with the puck in the Battalion zone with Nelson. Lucan to Nelson. Looks up ice, gets it to Zito. Zito flips the puck in and Procession chases after it. Broken stick there on the far side behind the goal line in the Colts zone. But no harm, no foul for the Colts as they still get the puck down to the Battalion zone. Hislop stopping up. Sends it over to Terrian. Terrian, one of the goal scorers here for the Troops, tried to flip it up for Procession. Instead, Van Steensel, or Romani, gets to it. Now the puck comes back in, and Grizzolio was offside. Touches the puck, so we'll get a stoppage here with 16:04. And a bit of a good start here for the Troops in the second period.
Yeah, about 4 minutes in, they've yet to give up a shot. They've gotten 3 of their own, and right now it's really been a very much better job in the defensive zone, not giving any looks really for Barrie to get opportunity, but again, still struggling a little bit when it comes to trying to clear the puck out of their own zone and create some sort of neutral zone offense to get into the offensive zone.
Delay here as they were waiting for the broken stick to come off the ice. Now we're good to go. Jackson in with Jelsma for the face-off. And it's back to Hislop. Hislop quickly up ice for Bloom. Bloom up to Jackson. Jackson over to Van Steensel. Van Steensel looks for the shot. It's blocked. Now Van Steensel down below the goal line flips it back for Jackson. Jackson couldn't corral it. And now the puck is tied up in front of the Battalion bench for Punnett to come and get. Punnett looking for options. Sends it up ice. Gets it to Van Steensel. Van Steensel's pass over to Hislop, and Hislop gains the zone. Hislop, far side of the Colts zone. Twisting and turning behind the net. Carries it out. Sends it back to the point for Kennedy. Kennedy flips it back in around the net. And it's going to go all the way around to Van Steensel. Van Steensel can't hold it, though. And now the Colts into the neutral zone lose it to Kennedy, who gives it right back to Punnett. Kennedy battling with Jelsma, knocked to the ice. Now it's McDonald with it. McDonald gets it back to Punnett at the blue line. And Punnett tries to flip it back in, but Kennedy will get to it first. Kennedy goes cross ice looking for Jackson. Hash is there for it. Picks it up and goes cross ice quickly to Punnett. Punnett flips the puck off the glass up to Frasca. And now Christopoulos tries to push it up. And Christopoulos goes after it. Quick pass back for Petrov. And then the puck's off a stick of Tarasevich or Clark. And it's knocked into the netting and out of play.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth to start off this game so far. Battalion having a couple of good opportunities, but it feels like they're trying to set up a perimeter game in the offensive zone right now. And Barrie not allowing that to happen, especially down low near the goal line. They've done a good job of getting that puck away from there and clearing the puck out. And you can tell the Battalion's still struggling a little bit when it comes to what the system that they want to play from an offensive perspective.
Clark to Hash. Hash cross ice. It's going to be Quick that was trying to gain the zone, couldn't, and now he does. Christopoulos behind the net, loses it though. And that's going to be Lowe, the most recent goal scorer here in our game, tying the game up at 2 for Barrie. And then Terrian's no-look pass to Romani, couldn't find it, but now Romani does have it as he goes one-on-one with Hash, couldn't get around him. And now Clark leads the charge the other way. Brant Clark. Beaudouin looking in front for him, and then the Battalion send the puck, get the loose puck and send it down into the Colts zone. Cholach first on that one. Cholach into the neutral zone. Flips the puck around the Battalion zone. Petrov will be first on that one on the far side wall. Sends it around for Christopoulos. Christopoulos quickly up ice for Tarasevich, and he gives the puck away to Cardwell. Cardwell cross ice to Akey. Stopped now by Tarasevich. Battalion have a 3-on-2 here developing. Tarasevich tries to get it to Wakely. Wakely cross ice for Petrov! What a save there by West as Matvey Petrov gets his first real good look of the game here.
Well, finally the Battalion are able to get it across and make West have to move laterally, and a really great play by Tarasevich to knock it down in the neutral zone, gain possession, and then Wakely a beautiful pass over to Petrov, and really good stop by West as he's able to get over there and square up to that puck, not really giving Petrov a lot of opportunities to put that one past him, and that's the kind of stuff the Battalion need to continue to do, but a great play there by Ben West as he's able to get out there and make a really nice stop, probably his best save of the game.
I would have to say so for sure. Hislop back to the point, takes a shot. McDonald tries to jam home the rebound but can't. And now the Colts send the puck down to the Battalion zone, and that will have the legs for icing. So the Battalion will come back with a second straight offensive draw.
And this is what is hard about giving up that late period goal, is that right now it's a 2-2 game, and right now it's all about who scores the next goal to take the lead. If this was a 2-1 game, you know, it's kind of a back and forth game. The Battalion had some chances, but nothing super great. You'd still be okay, but now with it being a 2-2 game, there's a little bit more pressure to try to put one in the back of the net, and that's where those late goals, again, they kill you, and this is a great example of changes the complexity of this period quite a bit.
Hislop pinches, tries to get it from Cardwell. McDonald keeps it in, flips it cross ice. Zito battling for it, but it's back to Nelson, who flips it back in. Nelson looking for Arnsby. Arnsby overskates it as he's taken into the boards. Same with McDonald, as McDonald's knocked down to the ice there by Vierling. Wiggle. Cross ice to Punnett. Punnett. The Powassan, Ontario native, flips the puck in. And now the puck's back out to the far side wall, but Vierling keeps it in. Vierling to Cardwell. Cardwell in the front. Can't get his shot away. Vierling does, and now Nelson leads the charge the other way with Zito. Pasquale Zito gains the Colts zone. Skates around the perimeter, tries to get to McDonald in front. Puck never got to West. Kennedy in the neutral zone picks up the flip shot by the Colts. Goes cross ice for Nelson. Good one-touch pass there by Nelson to Jackson. And the Battalion are in business in the Colts zone. Now Bloom looking to pass out front to Jackson. Can't get it to go. And Bloom was skating around. Now he trips up a guy. No call coming there. And Kennedy regains the Colts zone. Now Bloom takes the shot. Glove down by West. And Josh Bloom may have gotten away with one there.
Yeah, and Bloom's at a kind of a struggling. If you look at his last few games, no points against Sarnia, no points against Kingston, only one shot on net in both those games. Had a goal against Mississauga, but then nothing against Sudbury, nothing against Oshawa. So in his last 5 games, he's only gotten the 1 goal, the 1 point so far, and he's averaging about 2 shots a game. So you'd love to see Bloom put more pucks on net, get more opportunities, and he just has not looked like the Bloom that we saw when he first came over via trade.
Red hot Josh Bloom has cooled off significantly for sure. Out front now, Romani or Van Steensel with the chance from that home plate area there in front of the net, and it's just blocked by West, so we'll get another stoppage here with 11:50 left in the second period. 2-2. The Battalion are up to 16-13 when it comes to the shots on goal.
And you look at Kyle Jackson as well. No points against Sarnia, 1 assist against Kingston with 1 shot. No points against Mississauga, was a -4, and then had a goal and 2 assists against Sudbury. Nothing against Oshawa. So he's been another guy who's been inconsistent and has been mostly kept off the point sheet, and most of his points are coming from the power play. So 5-on-5, it's so important to get these guys going.
Nelson to Bloom, back to Nelson. Nelson on the far side wall. Gets it out front, gives it away to York. Now going the other way is Barrie. Barrie. That's Akey. Gets the puck in. Bloom gets to it first. Tries to flip it up. He does. And now he gains the loose puck before losing it to Grisolia. Grisolia behind the Battalion net. Takes a sharp angle shot. Turned aside by DiVincentis. Grisolia picks up the rebound. Back to the point. Akey sends that one in for York. York loses it to Lucan briefly. And Nelson gets the puck out to the blue line. Cholach tries to keep it in but couldn't. And now it's in the neutral zone with Akey. Akey in possession of the puck. Tries to send it in. Bloom with a good little kick there, keeps it away, and then he goes off for a quick change.
Yeah, Bloom almost got caught as he was calling for a change there, but the puck was right in front of him, and almost got caught in a too many man on the ice situation.
Wakely to Petrov. Petrov leaves it for Tarasevich. Tarasevich skates the puck in. Goes cross ice for Kennedy. Kennedy back to the other side with Hislop. Hislop flips the puck in. Tarasevich from a sharp angle can't get a good shot away. He had a wide open net, but a terrible angle maybe to shoot it at. Wakely back to the point for Hislop. Hislop flips the puck in. Tarasevich goes after it behind the net. Flips over his stick, and he's taken down to the ice. Wakely chases after it. Kennedy now hit hard as he jumped up in the air. Frasca getting away with one on that one. Kennedy very vulnerable as he was jumping in the air to try and get to the puck. And Frasca did not care and ran right into him. Back to Jelsma now in the neutral zone. Just under 10 minutes to play here. DiVincentis' net also off his moorings. They finally call that one down. And we'll get our stoppage in play here in our mid-period break. So that'll do it for this one in the first half, rather. I'm Courtney Kenny, he's Ben Sargent, and we'll be back on the other side of this.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows...
This period is brought to you by Canadore Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the alumni job portal. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks for more information.
And we welcome you back to the Frontline Game Day broadcast. I'm Courtney Kenny, he's Ben Sargent, and we'll be bringing in Derek Lindeman here for our mid-period break. Derek, we talked to you last. It was starting to heat up a little bit as you were talking about an interdivisional game. How's it feeling down there now?
The temperature between the two teams doesn't seem as hot on the benches, but it's showing out there on the ice, and I'm really happy with the way the Battalion came out in this first 10:07. Seemed to be dominating the fight in the offensive zone, just have been unlucky as West has shut the door, but the Battalion got to keep doing with what they're doing, keep going to the net and getting West moving east to west. Good things are going to happen, and the Battalion are going to have to come on here in the second period and try and get that goal-ahead marker here late in this period. Back up to you, Courtney.
Thank you very much, Derek. And as we saw, the Battalion trying to get West to go east to west, ironically with West. They did that pretty well with the Petrov chance, but West was just really tough on that one and came across really well to stop it. And as Derek says, I have to agree with him. I like the way the Battalion have come out as Wakely sticks explodes here on the face-off. And now he blocks a shot in as the Colts still have the puck in the Battalion zone, and Petrov gets the puck down the ice. Wakely will have to go for a new twig, and he does grab it. So now the Battalion back to having full men when you consider it with the sticks. Winslow in his own zone, twisting and turning. Over to Christopoulos. Christopoulos up the ice for Tarasevic, battling with Jelsma. Tarasevic taking hard to the boards from behind. And now it's to Clark in the Battalion zone. Now we're going to get a fight here between Frasca and Christopoulos, and I wondered when that was going to happen. Frasca has a couple of inches on Christopoulos, but the Christopoulos giving him everything he can handle. The pair of them left and rights and lefts. The two of them throwing haymakers here. And now the linesmen are going to get in there. No, now we're going to get some more punches being thrown. Christopoulos taking him down, trying to get him to the ice. Frasca throwing some more haymakers. Now battling, and now they do take down Christopoulos first. But what a heck of a fight by Paul Christopoulos. And you got the sense after the run on Kennedy and then the chance there on Tarasevic, something was going to happen.
Yeah, and that kind of just happens behind the play, right? And Christopoulos kind of didn't do too well at the beginning of the fight, and then ended up picking it back up after as he lost his helmet first. And then overall, it looks like there might be an additional penalty, or maybe they're just giving him the stuff back.
Looks like giving him the stuff back. We'll have to see here.
Looks like they might have added one more person, but we'll see if we can maybe get Derek if he wants to talk to us again. I don't know. He's talking to Tom Martineau right now.
Derek, as if to make you eat your words, the volume or the temperature seems to have risen a little bit between the two teams now as Christopoulos has been shown the gate for the instigator. What's going on now?
You know what? That was a good tilt. Both players went at it for a good length of time. Unfortunately, Christopoulos getting the extra two on that one, but him and Frasca went toe-to-toe there for a good length of time. Both teams getting their benches going, and the Battalion really looking to see if they can capitalize off of that little tilt. But it's going to be the Barrie Colts getting the power play after that fisticuff.
You're going to have to talk to Paul Christopoulos at some point and say, you're making me look bad here, Paul. I just said the temperatures didn't seem to be rising. But, I mean, Tarasevic was run, which I think is what directly led to that fight.
Oh, it definitely was. And you know what? You never want to see one of your better players get run over like that. And it's good for Christopoulos coming to his teammates rescue, as the referee still having word as to whether or not the instigator should be called or not.
I got to ask, before he answered the phone, Tom Martineau came in and he looked like he was grinning ear to ear. What was Tom saying?
You know what? He was saying that he was unfortunate he missed that. He was down at the far edge, so he's a little disappointed. He tried to get his best shot from the corner, but it would have been a lot better if he was here just 12 feet away from all the action.
Well, it looks like we're going to get back underway here. Thanks for answering the phone for us there, Derek. We'll get back to you. We'll let you get back to your between the benches duties there. As now it looks like we're getting 2 for instigating, 5 for fighting, and that's going to be for Christopoulos.
Fans not happy about that 10-minute misconduct, which is it's kind of always an interesting thing too with instigation when there's obviously a reason for it to happen, and it's one of those things where it is what it is. But the Battalion playing so well in this period, you don't want to give up the go-ahead goal here on this penalty kill, so this will be a very important penalty kill for them.
Well, the way I view it is if the referees aren't going to police it, you're going to have to police it at some point, right?
Yeah.
Jelsma in for Clark. Clark has the puck hop over his stick, and then the Battalion just send the puck right back down. Already 30 seconds killed on this man advantage here. A minute 30 left on the instigating penalty to Christopoulos. Petrov serving it in the box. Punt it.
I'm proud of you. I thought you were going to make a police pun. You didn't. So we're moving in the right direction.
It's like withdrawals right now at this point. Might be sending out an SOS, cut it in. Anyways, we're back underway. Jelsma Veerling on the near side wall to Clark. Clark flips it in for Jelsma. Over to Veerling quickly in out front for Punnett. Punnett's shot is blocked by Lucan. McDonald comes in with the loose puck, and now Punnett picks it back up. Sends it back to Clark. Under a minute remaining, 50 seconds to be exact. Clark sends the puck in, blocked aside by DiVincentis. Veerling looking for the rebound, can't get it. Now Lucan battling for it. But now the Colts come out with the wraparound attempt, and instead a good pass across the blue paint to Van Steensel. Instead of a shot on DiVincentis, and he just sends it down the length of the ice. 30 seconds here on the man advantage still for Barrie. And Akey with the puck now. Skates into the Troops zone, goes around behind the net. He's knocked down hard and goes sliding into the end boards, and then the loose puck comes out, but comes right out to the Colts. Lowe tries to keep it in. Now McDonald battling for it, trying to get a breakaway out of this. McDonald with a tight chance, turned aside by West, but really, as now West was going to let that go for Zito. Zito comes in, and that's my favorite thing is West had the glove up, like he was going to play it. Sees Zito coming. Zito goes to poke it at West, puts it back down, gets the coverage, and the very cool say, hey, don't attack our goalie.
And you know that with McDonald out there, as soon as I saw him and he gives the Barrie player a shot, I was like, yeah, I'm expecting that. McDonald loves to get involved. Every single time a player has the puck, he's around, he always finishes his check, even if you're like, that, you didn't really need to do that.
Yeah.
He loves to throw his body around and get in kind of involved with everything. So the one thing you do, and I know tempers are kind of high here, as we're back to 5-on-5 now, but you just want to be a little careful in a tied game, in a divisional game, that you don't do anything too crazy.
No. Now a shot by Nelson hits the crossbar. And good, glorious chance there by Ty Nelson, and it just went wide. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey, though. McDonald also on his breakaway, just in a little bit too tight. And now back to Winslow. Terrian flips it in. Romani looks to go center of the ice for Procession. Procession picks it up behind the net. Flips it back to the point for Winslow. Winslow looks to carry the puck in, leaves it instead for Nelson. Nelson to Romani. Romani sends the puck in and around the end wall. Kavanaugh's going to get to that one first. Terrian's going to throw his body into Kavanaugh. And now there's going to be some scrums here with Terrian and Kavanaugh being double teamed by Quick.
Oh, they almost dropped the gloves too. Terrian, they're having words as he gave him Terrian a kind of a late shot. And they're still talking as they go off to the bench.
Have to see if there's a second fight here in this game or not. Jacob Terrian not afraid to drop the gloves. We've seen him do that before. Ty Nelson in his own zone. Getting around a few Colts players before he gains his own. Takes a shot! Move over Brandon Miller. Ty Nelson is your single season goal scoring record for the North Bay Battalion.
Well, that was almost the same as Connor Punnett earlier in this game. Almost the same kind of shot as he goes top shelf off the crossbar in and we always talk about Nelson's slap shot, his one-timer, but he has one heck of a wrist shot, as we see it right there. And you know that Nelson loves putting this team on his back, and he reminds me a lot of PK Subban, where he'll go from end to end, and he creates that play all by himself. And what a beautiful shot! No chance for West. And all of a sudden it's 3-2, and he overtakes the OHL defenseman goal lead over Logan Mayu now with his 20th, I believe, of the season.
As we mentioned, yes, his 20th of the season. It's the first time since the team moved to North Bay that a Battalion defender has hit 20 goals.
That's impressive.
Beating Brandon Miller, who had the record in 2014-15, and now they're looking at it to see if it's offside. Are you kidding me?
Well, this will.
Oh my
if this
God!
Gets called back, it's going to get really loud in here very quickly.
Oh, I'm going to be yelling. I'm going to be yelling, and I'm on the broadcast.
It'll be interesting. As one of the things too that I thought was very interesting about Christopoulos' play, but his fight earlier with Fresca, is the fact that he got a 10-minute misconduct with it as well. As that was the reason why he left. So he'll be able to come back at about the early on in that third period. But very interesting that not just did he get an instigation, but he also got a 10-minute misconduct as well. As it looked pretty much like him just defending his players, but the referee did not see it more as him kind of just jumping Fresca. But
we'll have to see if Derek saw anything from ice level at this point in time as well. If he got a view here, as now we're getting a Fresca is in the box still.
Well, he still has that 5-minute, I believe, right?
Yeah, but they brought him a stick, and then they said, nope, no stick for you.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but we didn't get to see the replay here on the. We didn't get to see the replay here in the arena, so it's.
Well, we got some real big spoil sports in front of us that are telling us it looks like it's offside. We'll ask Derek now if he's what he saw from ice level, and I'll be really mad if they call it back, because that was one of my better goal calls I'll ever have. Derek, what'd you see from? Oh, we're getting this official scores telling us it's a goal, hopefully. So I like what he's saying, Stu, more than what you're saying. Derek, what did you see from ice level?
It's going to be right here, so just hold on 1 second. We're going to get the official call, and it's waved off.
Come on.
Outside on the play.
Mike lied to us.
You're kidding me. Oh, I'm so mad about that. That's ridiculous. I'm so sick and tired of all of these bloody reviews in this game, too. Oh, my goodness. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate you joining in just to hear me rant a little bit. It bogs down the game so much. That's what I hate about baseball, too. Oh, did his foot come off when you pushed him with the text? Shut up. Just get back to playing the bloody sport. It's a 3-2 hockey game, really. And how many goals would Nelson have this year if they weren't all called back? There's like 4 or 5 at this point. He'd be like at 25 goals, I swear.
Yeah.
So Nelson, Brandon Miller, your record still stands unofficially, or officially.
Yeah,
unofficially, it's been passed.
And I'm sure Nelson is getting some words from his teammates as well, maybe. But you know that he's going to continue to look at that. And unfortunately for him, I think the more important thing is the fact that it takes it from being a 3-2 game to now being just 2-2. But the one thing the Battalion do well in these situations, they come back, and they've played really well in the second period. So you know it's just a matter of time before they do it legally, break through in this game.
Kyle McDonald, quick shot on the one-timer from the pass from Nelson. And that one's turned aside by West. Battalion 2, Barrie 2, officials 1. 5:46 here in the second period remaining. I'm so mad about that. Oh, you have no idea. I'm going to be complaining about that all week. Back to Zito. Zito and Nelson battling for it. That was an end-to-end goal and everything. Come on. Arnsby. That's the next question I'm ever going to ask Ty Nelson next time I have him on the podcast. How does it feel to be robbed so many times by the league? Zito. In behind the net. Leaves it. Arnsby picks it up, flips it back to Kennedy. Kennedy comes in, takes a shot. It's tipped in front by Zito. West grabs that one and stops it cold. 5:08 remaining in the second period. 2-2 is our score.
Well, it almost looked like Zito was going to get that tip by West. As a good shot there by Kennedy, and Zito in the right spot. And again, you got to Battalion tend not to crash the net too much, and Zito getting in, and you kind of have to. We saw Wakely with a goal earlier in this game with where he tipped the puck, and Zito kind of getting that same spot, and that's the kind of goals that you're going to have to get past West.
Puck back to the point for Hislop. Hislop to Kennedy. Kennedy flips it in, knocked down in front of the net was Van Steensel, although he did get a good tip in, and now the puck is out to the neutral zone for Akey. That was offside. Glad you called that one. Jeez, 2-2. This is ridiculous. 4:55 left in the second period.
Again, with it being a tie game, though, the absolute worst thing that could happen right now is Barrie coming through and getting one by DiVincentis, as you played such a good period. And again, we talk about that goal late in the first period by Lowe that really made a difference in this second period, as the Battalion played such a good second period, but they're playing well as if they had a lead right now, and they need something to kind of get it going.
Puck flipped in on DiVincentis, and he covers that one up. So we'll get another stoppage here. 19-15 are the shots on goal in favor of the Battalion. Battalion out shooting the Colts this period as well, as the Colts have only gotten 2 shots so far.
Yeah, and they've kept him again. They've kept DiVincentis not being very busy at all. As whenever Barrie's been in the zone, it's been on the outside. They haven't really gotten a lot of good chances outside of one particular chance where there was a wraparound where he was all alone in front of DiVincentis, and fortunately for him, wasn't able to get a good shot off.
Grizzoli out front looking for Jelsma. Can't get that one to go, though, however. Now the puck's back behind the Battalion net. Quickly out for Hash. Grizolia. Knocked aside by Jackson, but the Colts remain in possession. Hislop knocks his man down. Knocks him down again. Grizolia trying to get back to his feet, and Hislop just comes back in and says, no, you're going to sit down for a few more seconds. Puck sent down the ice. Van Steensel is going to be the first in on the far side corners. He takes a hard hit from Hash. Jackson tries to flip the puck out. He loses it, though, and now Jelsma goes the other way. Jelsma to Grizolia. Grizolia was looking for the tip for McDonald, and he couldn't get the tip to go. Dangerous chance there for the Colts. The only thing that went in the net was McDonald. Clark up the ice for Jelsma. Leaves it for McDonald, takes the shot off the blocker of DiVincentis. Punt it. Another chance. Skates around, shoves the puck back around the other side, and that's going to be Ethan Quick with the puck. Jackson flips the puck out of his zone, and now punt it, picks it up at the red line. Out to DiVincentis. DiVincentis back over for Lucan. Lucan taking hard into the corner, falling down, and now a couple of Colts looked like a ghost got a hold of, that was Ty York, as he took a bit of a trip. Didn't look very comfortable on that one. Now Petrov into the Colts zone, flips the puck up to himself, but it's knocked away by Barrie. Over to Petrov. Winslow picks it up. Winslow skates it in. Tries to get a tight shot in. And now the puck's back down to the Battalion zone. West turned that one aside. Under 3 minutes here in the second period. 20-16 are the shots in favor of the Battalion. We're all tied up at 2. 3 for Hislop. Over to Tarasevich. Tarasevich is looking cross ice. Hislop keeps the puck from Cardwell, gaining it in the zone. And now Vierling's going to get the loose puck in the Battalion zone. To Cardwell, takes the shot over the net. Tarasevich tries to get to that one. And now Winslow battling at the end wall with Hislop. Hislop gets it around to the near side wall. Tarasevich battling for it in there with Vierling and Cardwell. Tarasevich comes away with it, gives it to Winslow. Winslow up to Petrov. Petrov flips the puck up into the neutral zone for Wakely. Wakely gains the blue line, goes around for a turn, and the ghost strikes again, knocking over Akey.
Well, speaking of Wakely really quickly, with his goal last period, he now takes the lead for the Battalion against Barrie this season with 6 points, 4 goals, 2 assists.
Impressive. Most impressive. Zito to McDonald. McDonald tries to flip it in to find Zito. That one's knocked down by the Colts. Now Kennedy tries to flip that one in on net. Zito comes away with it, gets the shot off as he's down on his knees. Now it's back to the point for Kennedy. Kennedy sends the puck in back around the net to McDonald. McDonald looking out front for Arnsby, can't get it. Kennedy keeps it in, takes a shot, turned away by West. Arnsby to McDonald. McDonald's pass back out to Kennedy at the point, takes another shot. That one hits the body in front, and then a very quick whistle covers that one up. And now we got a body pile in front of West.
Well, this is kind of like when they play Sudbury, and now there's even more thrown around as Lucan has Convalley, and now there's a fight going on.
Arnsby and Wiggle are going to go at it. Arnsby got his gloves off first, Wiggle second. The referee tried to separate it, and Arnsby kind of did the whole, are you not entertained? Now Arnsby throwing some haymakers in there with Wiggle. Arnsby being thrown all around, gets around to Wiggle, gets a good shot in. Gets a couple of more shots. Now the two of them are just hugging, getting a few more whacks. And the linesmen are going to get in there and block that one up. So our second fight of the period, our second fight of the game. And that one's going to go to Liam Arnsby and Zach Wiggle here.
And the referees were, the one referee standing there is trying to make sure that the Barrie and North Bay players are kind of separated so there's no more fights. This Cardwell was kind of in the middle there as well. And now it's kind of interesting with some of the line juggling because you still have Christopoulos out with that 10-minute misconduct to start the third period. And now you're going to have Arnsby out for the beginning of the third period as well, as he's going to be off 5 for fighting. What's going to be interesting is, are there going to be any additional penalties or anything, as Frasca's still in the box saying, hey, I want to get out, as he finally does. But it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes up. Is it just going to be 2 5-minute majors? Is there going to be more? The fact this is the second fight of the game, or are they going to try to... It looks like...
I really hope that Tom Martineau got a picture of Arnsby doing the whole...
the whole thing.
Because they were trying to keep him away, as Arnsby's now being shown to the locker room for now.
And this is something that it's so... If you look at this game and you're the Battalion, you have to remember it's a 2-2 game. Yes, they gave away that late period goal in the first period, and then Nelson's, of course, got called back. And this is still a very important game, and you don't want to get too kind of emotionally involved into the fights and everything, and forget the fact that if Barrie wins this game in regulation, they're only going to be 4 points behind Battalion now. And you think of that, you think of the Battalion always fighting for first place with Ottawa, but Barrie's right there, and it's not crazy to think the Battalion could slip into third in the East.
Yeah, it didn't feel like that for a long, long time. As now it feels like it is a bit more of a division race because Barrie has been playing some good hockey as of late. The Battalion not so much, as they have 2 losses in their last 3 now for the troops.
Yeah, and you look at Barrie, and 4 of their last 5 games they have points, as they had 3 wins and 1 overtime loss. So, you know, that's quick math, 7 points in 5 games. The Battalion, on the other hand, they're win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. So they've struggled to put together multiple wins in a row, and right now they're trying not to lose 2 in a row.
So it looks like both teams are going to pick up. Gee, who's number 9 on the Battalion now? Justin Ertle's not playing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be part of the fight instigation or if this is going to be separate roughing calls, but we'll have to wait to see what they call here on the
they're
PA.
calling the coincidentals.
So it'll be 5-on-5 for the last minute 25, and now they take the 1 penalty off. Oh,
They're taking both. I saw the referee motion to them to take both down. So it'll be 5-on-5 here. Petrov joining McDonald and Zito.
Well, now they're not happy with this super late line changes. Frasca now on the ice, of course. Last time he played, he got into a fight.
Yeah, the other guy, though, not there to...
Oh, so it's not even... Okay, so they clearly... Some miscommunication there. Zito's on the ice right now, but he was called originally for a roughing call that was taken away.
Well...
So we'll have to figure this out at the end of the period.
Whatever. Anyways, McDonald with the puck behind the net. 47 seconds to punt it. Yeah, now.
Yeah, we'll have to figure this out for the whole penalties here.
Zito, McDonald. McDonald with the shot. Petrov looking for the rebound. Can't get it to go. Now it's Nelson. And there's Nelson's shot just over the net. 27 seconds remain. Petrov cross ice to Nelson. Nelson in for McDonald. McDonald tried to shovel that one on net. Couldn't get it to go. And now McDonald chases after it. McDonald for the Colts. Into the Battalion zone. Held up by Hislop. Nelson. 12 seconds remaining. Nelson just throws the puck up. And it comes right back down after it had a little bit of a visit with the top of the Jumbotron.
And you know that Nelson on that shot. What a way to end this period if Nelson was finally able to put one through legally as... the penalty situation is very interesting because they originally called coincidental roughing minors, and Zito was on the ice, but they called him as being off for roughing as he was originally supposed to be off. But I think right now it's just the 2 5-minute fighting majors.
Well, now we have the referees talking it over with the scorers, and
I think there was some confusion from when it got called up. Yeah, when it got called up to the PA and when they originally took stuff out, but I think they've got this figured out.
I hope so.
It's a tough day to be a scorer.
Tough day to be a scorer, tough day to be a referee. I'm more angry at the referees still because of the bloody Nelson thing.
Oh, now we've got...
Now we got Zito coming over.
Okay, so Zito's now
Wow! We're doing great. We're doing golden here today, folks.
This is kind of interesting because...
Yeah.
Zito played a full shift.
Oh, yeah, he played a full shift. What if he had scored there? Would they call that back, too?
Probably.
Oh, my God. So Zito's the only one in the box, though.
And they're playing 5-on-5 right now, so...
Yeah, it's coincidentals. And that's going to do it here for the second period. This... As they say, let's do that hockey, but apparently even that's hard to do.
This seems like a Derek issue in the intermission to figure this one out.
He's coming. He's got his iPad out. He's already looking at all the stuff that's been going on, so we'll have to see what happens there. I don't know, man. The officiating in this league sometimes makes you just, like, your brain hurt. It just hurts.
Zito talking to the officials here afterwards with Clark, so we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
Hopefully
but
we have some answers for you.
I don't know. It just boggles my mind. Anyways, with that being said, I'm Courtney Kenny. He's Ben Sargent. We'll be back on the other side of this with our intermission show. As always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
And welcome back inside North Bay Memorial Gardens, where the second period ended just like the second started. A 2-2 tie here at Memorial Gardens as the Barrie Colts are taking on the North Bay Battalion. A lot to talk about other than just goal scoring, as quite a few penalties in that third period happened, and just a strange effects there in that second period. We'll try and run it all down after this. First off, the first penalties of the period got off with the first fisticuff of the evening, and that was Paul Christopoulos and Jacob Faska dropping the mitts at 10:43. Christopoulos picking up the instigator in that, along with a 10-minute misconduct. And then the second incident, just with seconds left in the period, roughing penalties went to both Pasquale Zito and number 91 Sholok of the Barrie Colts, but somehow Zito didn't get the message that he was supposed to be in the penalty box, played the shift, and then finally got sent in with 9 seconds left. So there's one. And then the other incident that occurred at the same time, Liam Arnsby dropped the mitts with, it was number 9 Zach Wiggle. So those two dropped the mitts. Nobody else got any other than 5-minute majors for fighting. shots in that second period. The Barrie Colts 3 for a game total of 16. The Battalion got 11 in that middle frame for a total of 21. Power plays tonight, both teams are 0-4. The Colts 0-3, the Battalion 0-1. Taking a look around the OHL on this Super Sunday as all the games are underway. No OHL games tonight, so not the regular 6:05 start in the Shaw, as the Oshawa Generals actually playing an afternoon contest. They currently are leading the Sudbury Wolves 3-1 through 2 periods of play. Elsewhere through 2 periods, the Niagara Ice Dogs have a 3-2 lead over the Frontenacs. That game going on in Kingston. Then in Peterborough, the Petes are trailing the Guelph Storm 4-3, also through second. And the other games is going on up in the Sioux. The Greyhounds have a 5-3 lead over the Sarnia Sting. That game is through 2 periods. Well, Ben, a lot to digest in that second period. We've seen a goal called back, a offside call on that offside call. The clock having to be run back a few seconds. We've seen a player not go to the penalty box. Play a shift. We've seen I'll tell you, I heard a lot of words down between the benches.
What would have happened if Zito got an assist, created a play,
or a goal?
Or a goal, yeah. Like what? I don't know. I've never seen that before, and it just feels like there was penalty on the penalty. There were penalties on the scoreboard. There was nobody in the penalty box. I believe the Barrie player was just left the.
Well,
ice,
when they're 2-minute coincidentals, they can both go to the dressing room, especially when there's less than 2 minutes left. You don't really need to have somebody in the penalty box. So Zito, with only 9 seconds, said, "I'll just wait till the end of the period. I'll go in the penalty box, make it easier for the guys opening the doors. Only need to open it once." I don't know. There was lots. We could just go on forever. That was just a weird circumstance. Fans were not happy with both that offside call and the extra penalty to Christopoulos, but Christopoulos basically coming to the aid of one of his players, Tarasevic.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we talked about this right before we went on air, which was if you have an instigator penalty in this league, it's an automatic 10-minute misconduct, right? So unfortunately, and they don't run coincidentally either with the fighting major, which means that Christopoulos was going to be out for 17 minutes, which means I believe he won't be back until around like the 10 between.
Yeah,
the 5
he'll
to
miss
10
about
mark.
7 to 8 minutes of the third period, depending on that stoppage of the whistle after that.
And you're missing Arnsby for the first 4 minutes or so until stoppage of play. So it's going to be interesting. You're missing a couple of key players from both defense and offense for the first little bit. And you have to remember, it's still a 2-2 hockey game, and the Battalion played a very good period. The issue with the way that they played was they played very well if they had a lead, which was keeping a lot of time in the offensive zone. They only gave Barrie 3 shot opportunities. There wasn't a lot for Barrie to really get going offensively, and they played really well, but they didn't create enough scoring opportunities. And you look at Nelson's goal, of course, which might be the big difference maker in this game. That might be a huge turning point with that goal getting called back, depending on how this third period goes. If Barrie ends up winning this game 3-2, that's going to be kind of interesting. But overall, I think the Battalion played a very good period. They need to continue that, but they need to focus on getting a goal here, because all it takes is one good shot against DeVincentis, and all of a sudden you're down a goal.
Exactly that. You've got to put teams away when you have the opportunity. Nelson did score that goal, unfortunately called back as he made a move right underneath the blue line cameras. That was a quick goal review there. But then earlier that shift, he rang one off the crossbar. So Ty Nelson looking to be heating up. Avery Winslow seemed to be a player really taking exception to some of the words being exchanged between these two benches. Yeah. He's another guy that I think is going to have a fire underneath his butt for this third period.
Again, it's going to be that fine line of you don't need to fight anymore. You don't want to lose guys for long periods of time, especially important players to this team. Guys like McDonald and Arnsby and people who are going to be very important to where this goes. Maybe you would take a guy like, this is where I loved Terrian's role when he was able to fight, because he was a guy who, yes, he's been very good lately, but he's also a guy that if he misses 5 minutes at a time, it's not the end of the world either, because he is on that fourth line and he's not your absolute main scoring threat. And I think you got to let some of these guys who don't get as much ice time, if you're going to get into these kind of scraps, if you're one of the big boys, if you're one of the McDonalds, if you're a Jackson, Zito, whoever, you just got to kind of stay away from it as much as you can. And you've got to remember, you're playing a very important hockey game. This is, especially if this thing doesn't go to overtime, which, I mean, these teams have already gone to overtime twice in 4 games. So if this game doesn't go to overtime, 2 points is a huge difference maker with how close Barrie is to the Battalion.
Exactly, and getting back to that instigator penalty for Christopoulos, one of the other important things that go along with that is that fight for Jacob Frasca will not count in his fight total for the season.
Yeah.
So the rule in the OHL is after 3 fights, you got to serve a suspension, and then every fight after that, the suspension increases. So that's one thing that if you're instigated upon does not count in that fight total. So for Frasca, that won't count. But that's all said and done. We can't do anything about it, but that was a good tilt between two. The fans got into it. Both benches are into it. It's going to be an exciting 20 minutes here as we still got the third period to play.
I think it is, especially, again, this hockey game would be completely. I think there's 2 big moments in this hockey game where we could be looking at this differently. And the first one was the late goal for Barrie at the end of the first period, where this could be a 2-1 hockey game at this point. And right now it's Ty Nelson, which would either have made it 3-1 or 3-2. And I think this is the complexion of this period is very different based off of those 2 things right now. And it's going to be interesting because, again, this is a tight game, but the Battalion have played a very good game. If you're Ryan Houlihan, you have to be happy with the way your team has played a very solid 40 minutes. And ironically, if the Barrie Colts come away with a victory, the Battalion, who usually don't play a full 60 minutes, are going to could find themselves losing the game that they actually play a full, really solid 3 periods. So hopefully for the Battalion, they're able to come away with this victory, and hopefully in regulation so they don't give up any points to Barrie.
Well, after 2 periods, let's take a look at how our players to watch have done so far, as they were brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor. So our first player to watch was Brant Clark, the captain of the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, so if you look at Brant Clark, he's had a very interesting game so far. He's looked pretty good. He's had a couple of good shots on net. No points on the board so far, but I think he's had a solid game. He's had a couple of opportunities where he's been able to shoot, where he's been able to have some good plays. But overall, I think the Battalion, they do a really good job of shutting down guys. Even look at Ethan Cardwell, another guy who they've kind of shut down lately.
And then the captain of the North Bay Battalion, Liam Arnsby, involved in that scrap at the end of the second period.
Yeah, he's had a bit of scrappiness to him. He's had some opportunities to score on that top line. That Zito Arnsby-McDonald line has looked good, and it almost feels like it's just a matter of time before McDonald puts one by the net. But both Zito and McDonald have looked great, and Arnsby's done a great job centering it.
So those were our 2 Mike, the financial advisor's players to watch. I want to thank him for doing a great job sponsoring that segment of our broadcast.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
I know part of Mike the Financial Advisor's social gameplay is he brings a financial fact every Friday. You can find that on his Twitter and his Instagram feeds. Mike the Financial Advisor. Hit him up if you need any financial advice. Well, Ben, Battalion don't need any financial advice there, but they do need some way of finding a way to score on West.
Yeah, and again, this is kind of interesting because we saw Sarnia play this game when they had the lead in the third period, which was playing a very kind of perimeter game. Now, to be fair, the Battalion did get that east-west movement we talked about in the last intermission to work, and Petrov had a beautiful chance that West made easily his best save of the hockey game, but you need to see more of that. We need to see more of those kind of good shots from the point. They need to start getting some shots again. If you look at the Nelson goal that got called back, it was high in the corner, right? If you look at like the Wakely goal, it was a goal where you got to tip. You got to start not just shooting right at the body of West. You got to get some tips in there. You got to get some east-west movement in there. And I think the Battalion right now are moving the puck well. They're having great possession in the offensive zone, but they're struggling in getting those very premium scoring opportunities.
Well, you got to continue doing what you're doing if you're the North Bay Battalion, especially in the defensive zone, only giving up 3 shots in that second period. How do the Barrie Colts find a way to penetrate that defensive wall?
So I think they need to just do a better job of getting the puck out of their own zone, not allow the Battalion to have so much offensive zone time, but the biggest thing is going to be their transition game. Can they get a game plan here that will allow them to break out of their zone in a transition way that'll give them some breakaways, some 2-on-1s, odd man rushes because again, all they need is one shot at this point. West is playing a very good game. They're playing a very good defensive game. And this is a kind of game where I think the next goal is going to be the game winner. And if they can come in, even if they're playing the same way they played in that second period, if they end up getting a goal by DiVincentis, that might be enough for what they need to do. But they're definitely, I don't think this has been the best game the Barrie Colts have played. Offensively, they've struggled in their own zone, but they are playing very well when the Battalion are set up in their defensive zone.
Yeah, well, we're just moments away. Super Bowl Sunday tonight. I still haven't decided what I want to bring to the Super Bowl party. Ben Sargent, any ideas? What's your go-to food to watch a big event with?
Oh, that's tough. There's a lot of classics, man. There's nachos. Any sort of thing. It's got to be nachos. Nachos are like the most, I guess, American, like North American kind of finger food that you can go with. That or like the little small hot dogs.
Oh, small hot dogs.
Yeah.
I bet you.
With the toothpicks.
Not like the ones that we had today in the broadcast room. No, little teeny hot dogs in a bun. What are they?
The hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
I forget. What's the special name for them? They're like.
They're hot dogs.
I know, but there's a thing.
Why are you trying to complicate it? It's just a hot dog.
It's a hot dog, but they're mini with
mini.
a toothpick.
Yeah, they're just little bite size.
With a little dipping sauce on the side. Well, we still got a couple hours before kickoff and 20 minutes still left here to decide the outcome of this game. If not anything, we'll have overtime as it's 2-2 here at Memorial Gardens after 2 periods of play. When we return, it will be the Colts Battalion here on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Pigs in a blanket.
Yeah, that's what they're called. Yeah, we figured it out after.
Yeah, that's the snack food.
Speaking of pigs in a blanket, the penalty boxes are pretty full here to start the game. As there's Zito, Christopoulos, and Arnsby chilling. As Christopoulos and Arnsby both are serving, fighting.
And we got Arnsby in there too, yeah.
And then
Kolak and Wiggle
are out there. So Christopoulos, and again, he's going to miss almost half of this period, depending on where whistles fall out. And it's going to be an interesting period. Again, I think the next goal is going to be the big point, and if you're the Battalion, you got to keep doing what you did in that second period. But this is going to be a very interesting game because, again, as I said, the Battalion have played probably their best first 40 minutes of a game we've seen in a long time against a relatively rested team versus what they played against Kingston. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting third period.
The good news for the Battalion is they're 26-1-1 when they lead after 2 periods. 1-13-0 when trailing, and 7-0-1 when tied at the end of the second. So, I'm Courtney Kenny, he's Ben Sargent, Derek Lindemann is between the benches as well, and Ben Long is our producer, discussing pigs in a blanket. That's what they're called, just for the record. Delicious snack food. Get a little bit of mustard on there.
They're just hot dogs.
with a little bit of mustard. Yeah, but the dough's different.
Yeah, same thing.
The dough's not the bun.
I don't know about your fancy words. I just call them hot dogs.
Anyways, the Battalion in their home greens are going right to left. The Colts in their road whites are going left to right. It's 2-2 for my personal thing, and I'm going to ask you. I think Patrick Mahomes is the new Tom Brady. How can you bet against him in the Super Bowl? I think the Chiefs take it.
It's going to be interesting for sure. Mahomes has done a lot. He's already has a Super Bowl in his young career, but definitely worth the money that he's being paid.
Yup, he's
Would
making.
Be nice. When are we getting a raise, by the way?
By the way, hey, Patty Mahomes, you want to sponsor the broadcast? I mean, I am a Bills fan, so Josh Allen all day, but, like, let's go. Anyways, the Colts flip the puck out of their zone for Akey. Akey sends it up ice. Cardwell flips it into the Battalion zone. DiVincentis behind his net. He gives it away quickly, but Grzolia can't make anything happen with it. And now it's to Vierling. Vierling back to the point for Clark to Punnett. Punnett takes a shot blocked in front by Nelson, and Nelson chases after it in the far side corner. Gets it out to the neutral zone for Punnett, who flips it over to Clark quickly. Clark taken hard in the boards by Van Steensel. And now Hislop turning, gets it to Tarasevic, who gives it to Wakely. Wakely shoots the puck on net. It hits Punnett's stick in front of him, so rides up and over into the meshing, so we'll get a stoppage here.
Well, this is the second time DiVincentis has made a bad play as Kolak now out of the box.
Kolak and Zito.
And Zito both out. They had the 2-minute coincidental roughings, but man, it would be interesting to get a chance to talk to Clark about his time in the NHL. And same with Shane Wright, but the biggest difference that they've noticed between the NHL level and the OHL level, especially when it comes to like the physicality and the speed of the game, and if that was kind of a surprise.
Lucan knocks Jelsma off the puck, and now the puck's down to the Battalion zone. Speaking of Clark, chasing Winslow, leaves him with the puck. Now Tarasevic has it near the blue line by his bench, up to Lucan. Lucan kicks it in. Clark stops that one before Lucan stops his pass up ice and flips it back into the Colts zone. Tarasevic to the center ice area for Terrian to Winslow, rather. Winslow with a good shot off the post. That's 2 posts now that the Battalion scored or hit since they scored their 3rd goal. Just kidding. That one was waved off by an offside. Winslow. So the Battalion looking more and more dangerous here as the game goes on. Winslow taking it to the boards in his own zone. McDonald flips the puck in over Winslow's head. Jelsma now battling with Winslow in the far side corner. And now a scrum ensues as there's about 2 Battalion and 2 Colts, and then Lucan comes in and just grabs the puck before anyone kind of realizes it. So that puck sent down the ice. That will go for icing as it's over Akey's stick. So the Colts will get an offensive zone draw here on the Battalion.
Well, Wakely's trying to go off for a change here. Obviously, they're going to have to they were in the middle of a change, so they're going to have to put some guys back on the ice, as they're not allowed to change on an icing. But Barrie having a pretty good start to this period, which is not a good sign for the Battalion. But again, this is going to be one of those ones where I honestly do think the next goal is going to be it's going to be a 3-2 game at the final for somebody.
Over to Clark. Clark with a shot. Rides up and over DiVincentis' blocker and to the glass behind the net. Another chance comes in. DiVincentis kicks that one aside. And now the Colts battling for possession of the Battalion zone to Clark on the near side wall. Clark throws it in. DiVincentis, it was going to miss the net, but he grabs it with his glove anyways and covers it up.
And Tarasevic not able to get that puck out of the zone initially, as he kind of just lost it right at the blue line. And those are the kind of plays as a coach you got to hate, because they give you second scoring chances, like we saw Clark with the shot there, albeit not a very good scoring chance, but still getting a shot on net. And already in this period, they've already gotten about 2 or 3 shots at the start.
Colts. Clark flips it in. We'll have to see his ice time here in this 3rd period if he even comes off the ice. To Jackson. Jackson gaining the zone. Gets it back to Kennedy. Kennedy throws it on ice, or on net, just wide of West's net. And now Clark loses it to McDonald, but McDonald's pass back to the Battalion defense is missed. And now McDonald does get it back in the neutral zone. McDonald flings the puck behind the net. And that's going to be sent back by Kavanaugh. And now Quick through the neutral zone for the Colts. Quickly over to Wiggle. Or rather Low. Low loses the handle on it. Gets hit. And now Hislop gives it over to Jackson. Jackson up ice quickly for McDonald. McDonald loses the handle on it. How many times have we seen that this game where McDonald's trying to get around somebody and he continuously loses the puck whenever he tries. Quick gets a hold of that one, but it's quickly whistled down anyways.
Yeah, and as you said about McDonald, but he's been all around the net. He's had a couple of great shots, and my kind of well, it's not really a bold prediction, but my prediction here is if the Battalion score, I think it's either going to be Zito or McDonald or Arnsby. It's going to be that line that's going to create that goal. Just the way they've been around the puck tonight, it feels like it's just a matter of time to get one by West.
They have been impressive. Arnsby is currently in the box still. And now the Battalion have possession in their own zone, and now they're going to have an icing call.
Looks like
Or an offside call, sorry.
Looks like Arnsby's coming out of the box now with Wiggle as their 5 minutes is done. Christopoulos will probably still be in there until about the 12, 11, 10-minute mark, somewhere in that range. That's going to be 17 minutes worth of penalties in this game.
You're going to get a nice, well-rested Liam Arnsby, which is going to be good news for the Battalion.
You'd love to see him kind of get something going here.
Back to the point, shot by Hash, blocked in front of the net. Now Frasca has it, quick chance turned around by Jelsma, nearly knocked out in front. Divinchentis knocked down by McDonald. He lost his stick on the ice. Now Hash with it, takes the shot, stopped by Divinchentis. Winslow behind the net, avoids a hip check. You don't see those too often anymore. And now the puck's knocked up ice for Bloom. Divinchentis has regained his stick. And now the Colts, who are putting on all the pressure with McDonald. McDonald sends it into the Battalion zone. Nelson picks it up, sends it back over for Winslow behind the net. Quickly up ice for Arnsby, and Arnsby just chips the puck out of the zone and chases after it. Hash now in his own zone with it, with Romani hot in pursuit. And now the Colts regain the Battalion zone with Clark. Clark to Frasca, loses it. Arnsby sends it up the ice, and it's going to hit the kick plate at the neutral zone and go down for icing. So 15:24 left in the third period. It's still tied at 2.
When you spend a lot of time in your own zone, one of the things is it's very hard to create offense off of that, because by the time that the one guy goes to chase the puck down the other side, everybody else is going off for a change. So you can't really make a lot of transition game. And for the Battalion, it's going to be not spending so much time in their own zone and trying to get something going. Barrie playing very well in the first 5 minutes.
Hislop to Zito. Zito turns around and sends the puck up for Lucan, and Lucan just sends it down the length of the ice. And now Akey tries to get it past Arnsby, and he does. Chance out front now to Zito with a good chance. And he's knocked into West, knocking down West. But Zito with a good backhand chance on the goaltender, who stood his ground on that one.
Well, Zito's trying to make me look good, almost getting a goal. But he's looked very impressive in his game back. I think he's slotted really well in this left wing situation, as we've seen a lot of speed from him. We've seen him getting a lot of great opportunities. And I think taking away that pressure of playing center has really helped him just kind of play his own style of game here and not have to worry about too many things. And obviously a veteran center like Arnsby, as Zito's going to take the draw here, but you can tell the Battalion with McDonald right behind, they're probably going to try to set up a little one-timer.
Zito tried to win it back to McDonald, but he couldn't. Instead, Arnsby gets it in the far side corner and knocks it around the perimeter before he's knocked to the ice. And now the puck's down into the Battalion zone, and a foot race with it is Arnsby and Winslow, I should say, and Winslow wins that foot race for an icing call.
Yeah, McDonald not very happy, thought he got tripped up there. It was kind of tough with the Colts player getting a stick. It looked kind of clean, but you could definitely make a case for one of those 50-50 penalty calls, but McDonald wanting one. Looks like they're going to try something set up here. This time it's going to be Arnsby taking the draw with Nelson and Winslow out there now.
Wins it back to McDonald with the quick shot blocked in front. And there it was, the set play. Winslow now has it in his own zone. Over to Nelson. Nelson up ice quickly looking for McDonald. And a good thing there was an offside call there, or else Cardwell would have been in home free against Divinchentis. Zito tries to flip the puck back. He does. Wakely comes in with it, tries to get a shot away. A good stick there by Cardwell keeps him from getting a shot off. Cardwell into the Battalion zone. Dipsies doodles around Winslow, but can't get a shot away. And now Petrov in a foot race with Akey. Akey's going to win that foot race, though. And Akey's going to send it around from behind his net up the ice. Cardwell will get it in the neutral zone. Cardwell sends it across to the Colts bench. Nobody was there, so Tarasevic sends it back into the Battalion zone for Kennedy. Kennedy trips and falls just to his knee, but gets a pass away to Hislop. That ghost, man, he's out there. Something fierce today. Tarasevich flipping the puck down the ice, off the end wall. And now battling for it is Cholak and Wakely. Wakely knocked down. Up to Quick. Quick flips the puck in cross ice. Kennedy will chase after it. Battling with Beaudouin. Puck comes out. Tarasevich now going the other way. Goes cross ice for Petrov. The pass was behind him by about 1.5 feet. Cholak in his own zone. Tries to get the pass around from Tarasevich, and he does. Now the Colts are moving the puck back up north. Flipping the puck in past or Beaudouin, getting it past Lucan. And now back out to the point. Cross ice for Clark. Clark, nice little move to get around Van Steensel. Sends a pass in from the goal line. And now Van Steensel has it behind his net before he gives it to Jackson. Jackson up to Nelson. Nelson sends the puck into the Colts zone, but not for very long as Lucan now has it back in his zone. Rizolia wins it from Lucan, sends it cross ice, and Nelson picks it back up in the Battalion zone. Throws the puck up ice. It hits Van Steensel's stick, so no icing. And now Frasca sends it in for Hash. Van Steensel behind the net battling with Bloom. Bloom tried to get the puck, but instead the Colts come away with it. And now McDonald goes the other way. McDonald down to Winslow. And this is a game you really want to finish in regulation against these Colts. You don't want to give them any extra points. And they're 12-20 away from that with a tied game right now.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, too, where, as you said, but at the same time, if you're going to lose, it would be better to happen in overtime. But so it's one of those ones, if you win, you definitely want to do it in regulation.
Clark, shot from the point. Down to Bloom. Bloom was going to chase it, but Punnett will get to that first, and Bloom's going to go off for a quick change. Zito. was looking to go after Punnett, decides not, and lets the Colts kind of set things up. Punnett's just been around behind his net for about 20 seconds now. Looks up ice quickly. Frasca can't get by Hislop, though, and they finally gain the Battalion zone with Arnsby. Arnsby quickly looking for the stretch pass for McDonald, can't find him. And now Punnett carries the puck into the Battalion zone, looks for a pass cross ice. The stick of Hislop is knocked out of his hands. And now McDonald has the puck behind the net and squirts out. And DiVincentis is going to cover that one up. So 11:27 remains here in this third period.
Christopoulos coming out of the penalty box finally as 17 minutes or so are up. And yeah, this is a game, as you said, it's kind of an interesting one because, you know, if you're the Battalion, you want to win in regulation. If you're Barrie, you want to win in regulation because it's so tight. But then both teams, if you lose, you'd rather lose in overtime. So, but that being said, I think the Battalion, and I think it's easy to say, they've been the better team for most of this hockey game. I think this is a game that they deserve to win. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the last half of this period shakes out.
Clark flips the puck down deep into the Battalion zone. He's now behind the Battalion net. Flips the puck up, and now a quick pass over to Hash. Hash takes the shot, blocked by Zito. Another chance coming in there by Vierling, misses the net. Feels like the Colts are kind of on a power play here. Arnsby falling to the ice, loses it to Cardwell. Cardwell at the point, walks the line, takes a shot. It's knocked down in front of DiVincentis and then knocked out of the zone as that puck changed direction about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, the next thing you know now, shots 22-21 in favor of the Battalion. So Barrie doing a much better job this period offensively.
Wakely's pass couldn't find his way through Hash, or else he would have had McDonald home free. And now Vierling up the ice quickly to Wiggle. With the puck now, that's Akey in the Battalion zone. Battalion players crashing into each other now. And Tarasevich is bringing the puck down the ice. Tarasevich gains the Colts zone, taken off the puck by Akey, though. And that seems to be the tale of this period so far for the Battalion. Much like the Sarnia Sting. Gain the zone, lose the puck. Barrie goes down the ice. Gain the zone, lose the puck. Barrie goes down the ice. Now with the puck in the Colts zone, that's Beaudouin, gets it up quickly for York. Grizolia chases after it. And Grizolia has it in the Battalion zone. Petrov flings the puck up to nobody, so Cholak picks it up. And the Colts send it right back into the Battalion zone for DiVincentis to play. Up to Petrov. Petrov knocks the puck out front of the ice, and now it's procession with Romani. Romani gets in, takes a shot, he scores! Anthony Romani with the third goal for the Battalion. Call that one offside.
Don't tempt them. What are you doing? Well, we'll hold our breath until the puck drops again, but what a play by Romani. Unfortunately, it's not Zito or McDonald, so my hot take does not come to pass, but what a play by Romani, who decides to take that shot versus passing to Procession, which I think with the way that play shook up, that's the right call to make, as he goes top shelf right above the glove there, and all of a sudden 3-2 with 9:40 to go, and with the way the Battalion have been playing this in this period so far, I wouldn't hold my breath to say that this might be enough, but right now it's up to the Battalion to play that great defensive game and hold on to this regulation win over Barrie.
Anthony Romani's 14th of the season. Last year at this time, he had 2 goals.
Romani's looked very, very strong, and he's played all over the place. He's played on that fourth line, he's played on the top line, and I think he's done such a good job being so versatile with the Battalion.
Akey flips the puck into the Battalion zone. Hislop picks it out. Christopoulos back out on the ice now. And now it's back Romani, or Wakely rather. Sends it in for Hislop. Hislop behind his net to Romani. Romani looking for some options. Just scoring his 14th goal of the season.
And you talk about depth again. Every Battalion line outside of the McDonald, Arnsby, Zito line has now scored a goal.
Hislop loses it. Now Tarian goes for it with Romani. Romani gets to the red line, sends it in for Jackson. Jackson tries to toe drag around and take the shot. It misses the net. Frasca sends it up for McDonald. 8.5 minutes here remain in this third period. The Battalion now have a 1-goal lead, 3-2. Van Steensel leaves it back for Jackson. Jackson sends it in for Bloom. Bloom quickly back to Jackson, leaves it for Lucan. Lucan takes a sharp angle shot. It bounces out front. Van Steensel tries to get a backhanded on goal, just misses the net. Bloom sends it back to the point. Who is there? Evan Vierling. So now the Colts are going the other way with Cardwell. Cardwell in, takes the shot, stopped by the helmet of DiVincentis, and the puck's knocked away. Jackson sends the puck down into the Colts zone. West is going to see that one come in and just cover that one up. So we're going to get to our mid-period break here. We're just under 12 minutes played in this third period, 8 minutes left, and we'll be back with more on the other side of this.
This period is brought to you by Canadore Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Visit CanadoreCollege.ca/perks for more information.
Tonight's 3 Stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
And we welcome you back to North Bay Battalion Hockey on the Frontline Game Day broadcast. I'm Courtney Kenny. He's Ben Sargent along with Ben Long, our producer. And, of course, Derek Lindemann, who's between the benches. And, Derek, what's the vibe down there now since the Battalion just scored the tie-breaking goal?
The vibe's really positive coming from the North Bay Battalion bench. I thought the Barrie Colts did an excellent job making adjustments after that second period, but the Battalion made an extra adjustment in that sequence since coming out, and as that actually set up that go-ahead goal by Romani. And that's better than watching the train go by here as Avery Winslow letting the Barrie Colts bench know that they have that 3-2 lead right now.
Yeah, Avery Winslow's not afraid to be vocal. Thank you very much, Derek. We really appreciate what you do down there between the benches and, of course, hosting these games. Liam Arnsby ready to take the face-off in the offensive zone. Gets it back to Nelson, takes the shot. West stops that one in the butterfly and gets a quick whistle there. 4 seconds only on that play. So now it's 7:58 left in the third period.
Well, one of the things the Battalion do so well at home is they shut down the top scorers of the opposing teams. As if you look into this, coming to this game, both Verling and Cardwell had 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists coming into this in that top line. And they have more than point-per-game players. Both of them have been kept off the score sheet this afternoon.
Big plus for the Battalion so far, although Cardwell out there with the puck right now. And Vierling as well on that top line. Cardwell battling his way into the Battalion zone. And now Zito comes away with the puck into the neutral zone. Zito sends the puck in behind the net to Nelson. Nelson can't hold on to it, though. And now Cholach has it into the neutral zone. McDonald up the ice quickly. Battalion on a bit of a 3-on-2 here. McDonald back to Zito. Zito with a quick shot. That one was kicked over to McDonald, but he didn't have any time to react. To Hislop. Hislop sends it in. Tipped on net by McDonald, but just wide. And now Vierling's going to take the puck and throw it down the ice. Looking for Cardwell on that flip pass.
That one almost hit off Hislop's skate right onto Cardwell's stick.
Oh, yeah. That would have been a comedy of errors right there for the Battalion. Tarasevic. Because there's a few people yelling at the referees right now as the puck's on the far side wall. Punt it. Brings it to the near side and chips it off the glass and out of the Colts zone, but Petrov picks it up. Petrov throwing it back down to Christopoulos. The puck bounced over his stick. And now it's up to Tarasevic. Tarasevic, though, loses it to Punnett. Punnett flips the puck in cross ice in the Battalion zone. And now going after it is Ty York. York loses it to Petrov, who sends it down the ice. And now Tarasevic battling with Kavanaugh, but Kavanaugh flips the puck back up ice quickly. Too quick. York in. And now the Colts with a good chance there off the stick of Carter Lowe. But it's turned aside by DiVincendis. Petrov into the neutral zone. Flips the puck down the ice. And now he looks out front for Tarasevic. And what a save there by West, who's made a couple of great saves here. And then receives a whack on the stick for Connor Punnett for his efforts.
Well, what a play by Match Bay Petrov as he puts it right off the boards to himself. A little chip and chase, and then he gets the pass over to Tarasevic. And Tarasevic, even though he has 4 points in his last 5 games, 3 of those assists coming in one game against Kingston. But if you look at Tarasevic, he's played very, very well. He's been creating a lot of opportunities. He's been getting in the rush. He's really using his speed effectively this season. And I think that's kind of been a huge, of course, he came over from Sarnia last year, and he's looked so good for the Battalion this season, but lately he's really been turning it on, and unfortunately just hasn't been rewarded with that many points.
Tarasevic, one of the guys that, as Van Cecil walks out in front of the net, takes a shot, saved by West. Another chance by Jackson, just misses the net. Tarasevic is one of the guys that at the beginning of the year, Adam Dennis and Ryan Houlihan said to us on the podcast, he's the guy that they really think is going to blossom offensively this year for the Troops. And blossom offensively, he has. Really proven that these guys might know what they're thinking, what they're talking about. Puck behind the net. Tries to get a chance there on DiVincendis. He almost knocks the net off, but the net stays down. As now the puck out to out to Gelsman. Gelsman to the point for Clark. Cross ice for Hash. Hash takes a shot. It's blocked by Bloom, and Bloom tries to get the puck out, but can't. Now it's McDonald takes the shot. Wide of the net. McDonald picks it up on the near side half wall. Frasca gains the loose puck, takes a quick shot. DiVincendis gloves that one down. 5:07 remaining in this third period.
We look at Tarasevic, 35 points in 49 games, 13 goals, and 5 of those shorthanded, and that's what he does so well is uses speed. Him and Zito remind me a lot of the same kind of that very, very small, speedy guy. And I think Tarasevic has done such a good job, especially on that line with Petrov, as he does a great job, not just necessarily on the score sheet, but he really does a good job setting up that line and kind of supporting that line, creating a lot of opportunities.
Puck in front. Vierling tried to get a shot off from the slot, couldn't. And now it's up to Zito. Zito loses the puck, and Clark keeps it in. Clark run over nearly by his own teammate. Now Punnett takes a shot, and that one's turned aside. DiVincendis takes another chance from Clark and blocks it aside. Now Vierling at the point clears it for the Battalion, and now Kyle McDonald going the other way with a 2-on-0 to Zito. Oh, he put it over the net. A 2-on-0.
Talking about that speed of Zito, he comes out of nowhere and almost a glorious opportunity. I can't believe he missed that.
Oh my goodness, Kyle McDonald got the pass off to him. And Kyle McDonald with a lethal shot at that point. Yeah. Kyle, take the shot.
But it's kind of interesting because I was surprised he didn't shoot the puck, but I also thought that it was kind of a good play just because
it was a good play,
West
for
didn't
sure.
have a lot of opportunities, but somehow Zito decides to send it to the moon as he shoots it almost out of play. And I'm sure Zito would have loved to have that back, and it's just because I said that they would score a goal. But Zito, like we just talked about that speed, and again, he comes all the way from his own zone to join that rush, and he uses that speed, and he's having one heck of a game coming back, especially from a leg injury.
I guess you could say that puck could be walking on the moon.
Okay.
It's so lonely up there.
Calm down, Frank.
Puck up to Petrov. Petrov in the cold zone takes a shot, and it's knocked aside there by West. We'll have to see when the Colts elect to pull him if they do. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Romani behind the net now. Sends the puck up to Winslow. Winslow cross ice to Nelson. Nelson to Petrov. Out front for Romani. Romani back to Nelson at the point to Winslow. Cross ice, Winslow takes the shot. Procession tried to get the puck that was blocked in front of the net, and then he's knocked off the puck, and the Colts send the puck up the ice to Nelson. Nelson flips it right back in, goes off for a quick change. 3:30 left here in this third period, 3-2. Battalion currently lead. And the Colts looking for an outlet pass to Frasca. DiVincentis behind his net plays the puck up to Jackson. Jackson knocked in hard by Frasca. And now Jackson has the puck in the neutral zone before he loses it to Punnett. Punnett sends the puck around the perimeter of the Battalion end, and then Van Steensel sends the puck down the ice, which will have the legs for icing, and Punnett will be the first one back. So, with 3:01 left in this third period, the Battalion will find themselves having to defend an offensive zone draw for the Colts.
Yeah, and they were so close to getting an insurance goal, which would pretty much have iced this game with 3 minutes to go, but right now, Barrie having a very good third period. I thought they played it well. What's hurting the Battalion is they're struggling to get the puck out of their own zone. But I think overall, if you look at this whole game, assuming this stays the way it is, I think Ryan Houlihan has to be very impressed with the way that his team bounced back, especially against that game against Sarnia.
I would have to say this third period's been all Barrie. The Battalion, though, with an impressive goal, though. But that second period was more of what we've come to expect from the North Bay Battalion in this one, although it's not over until it's over. Frasca flips the puck in. DiVincentis out to play the puck behind his net. Gives it to Christopoulos, who leaves it quickly for Bloom. Bloom flips the puck up for for Wakely, rather. Expecting Jackson to be there, but he had gone off for a change. And now Frasca looks to find the trailer Jelsma, who can't tip the puck on net. Wakely sends the puck down into the Colts zone. West out to play it. Leaves it there. And now Punnett has it. Punnett flips the puck down the ice. Sends it in for Winslow. Nelson leaves it for Petrov. 2 minutes here remain in this third period. 3-2 Battalion lead. And for West. West up the ice quickly for Akey. Akey gets it past Petrov, but Winslow picks it up in the neutral zone and flips it right back into the Colts zone. Minute 50 left on the clock. 3-2 Battalion lead. They also have a shot edge of 3 shots, 29-26. Akey, as we're going to watch West now intently. As the puck's down, Vierling's going to get to it first. West still in his net. Arnsbury. West looking like he's ready to go. He does. He bolts for the bench. It's now a 6-on-5 here momentarily for the Colts. As coming out is Wiggle. Petrov to Akey. Akey over to Cholach. Leaves it for Akey. Akey trying to gain some space, and he does. Now McDonald gets it and decides to flip it down the ice, and there it is. Kyle McDonald with the empty net goal. It's a 4-2 Battalion lead.
Well, I said he'd score. Does that still count? What a shot, though. And this is so important because you kind of just felt like Barrie was just going to tie this game up at the last second. They get it to overtime. And what a great way to ice this game here with 1:11 to go. A huge, unless something crazy happens in the next 71 seconds, this will be a big 2 points now, put them 8 points back ahead of the Barrie Colts, and with Ottawa not playing today, gains 2 points on the 67th as well.
Ba-da-da-da-da, we're loving that one. Wonder if McDonald's is on anyone's Super Bowl menu. 24th of the season for Kyle McDonald. We're into the final minute now of Battalion hockey as they lead the Colts 4-2. We'll have to see if West leaves the net again. It looks like he's getting ready to go as he's looking at the bench. Lucan flips it around behind the net to Kennedy, up to McDonald. McDonald flips it down the ice, or rather he hits the Jumbotron, and that Jumbotron's taking some abuse this game.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to raise it. I don't know. Build another roof or something.
I don't know if there's much more room that you can raise it.
I know. But either way, I think you got, again, even though Barrie has played well, but I think a lot of this has happened as there goes West.
No, I think we're getting a timeout for the Colts.
Timeout, yeah.
We'll have to see. I think he's going to stay.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, as it'll be an offensive zone face-off here. But what's going to be very, if you're Ryan Houlihan, I think the thing that's hurt them in this third period is the inability to get the puck out of their own zone, more so than Barrie playing very well. I think the Battalion have hurt themselves a little bit, but That being said, I think with, again, if you're Ryan Houlihan, you've got to be very happy with this performance when you compare it to how they played Thursday against Sarnia, that they've been able to find the back of the net a lot more consistently, and they've been able to keep some of these good shots. And DiVincentis, again, we haven't seen this too often, but another couple of shots that have just been perfect basically past him. And other than that, another 2-goal performance for DiVincentis, which he has been money all year long.
Well, they call Mike McIver cash money on the Trappers, as West is going to stay, or it looks like. But
he's going to be off.
That's what I mean. He's going to stay with the Ducks. Sorry.
I thought you meant stay.
Yeah, DiVincentis. They call Mike McIver cash money. He played a pretty good game yesterday for the U18 Trappers. The U18 Trappers also beating the U16 Nickel Capitals today in Sudbury. 40 seconds. Akey to Vierling. Cross ice to Punnett. Punnett takes a shot. That one hits a stick and goes wide. Now Gelsma to Cardwell. Back to Vierling at the point to Akey. Akey winds up the shot. It's wide of the net. McDonald has it. Tries to flip it down the ice. Can't get it by Vierling. Now Arnsby does, and he flips it out to the point, but they can't get it too far from there. Now pass out front. Couldn't make its target on a good stick by Christopoulos. And McDonald looking to ice this one for real. Gets the red line, sends it down, and hits a body and floats into the corner. 8 seconds, and that should be all she wrote here for the Barrie Colts, as the Battalion are going to take a very important 2 points from the Colts here with a 4-2 victory over Barrie. A much-needed victory for the troops on home ice.
And you know Ty Nelson's going to feel a little bit better after he got kind of a goal taken back, which would have been a big, momentous goal, which he will hit in the next few games, I imagine. But that's going to make him feel a lot better, as they're still able to come away with, as you said, a very important 4-2 game and a much better game for the Battalion. As now the question is, can they string consecutive wins as they'll face Erie on Thursday?
Should be a big one. We know Derek talked about it in the intermission show that Stan Butler will be making his first return to North Bay Memorial Gardens since being promoted by the Battalion up to the head office. And now he's taking a coaching job with the Erie Otters. So that'll do it here for myself on this one. We will have Ryan Houlihan on our socials after the game, so keep an eye to that. I'm Courtney Kenny. He's Ben Sargent. Derek Lindemann was down between the benches, and he's Ben Long. We'll be back on the other side of this. As always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcast.
Well, the Battalion are coming away with a big Sunday afternoon victory over divisional rival Barrie Colts, who are directly behind them in the standings, as they are now 8 points ahead. The Battalion come into this game 34-14, 1-1, will walk away with their 35th victory and are now 19-4, 1-1 at home, as they have been extremely impressive here at Memorial Gardens. Let's take a look at the scoring summary quickly. 2 goals as the go-ahead winning goal was from Anthony Romani. That was at the 10-20 mark of the third period. It was Ethan Procession and Matvey Petrov getting the assists on that one. And the empty netter was Kyle McDonald. Ty Nelson getting an assist on that as well. Nelson, of course, had a big goal that was called back that would have given them 3-2 lead in the second period. And we'll have to wait a little bit longer for him to break. Brandon Miller's the North Bay Battalion record for goals of a defenseman. And now let's take a look at your 3 stars of the game.
Tonight's 3 stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
Well, for the 3 stars, brought to you by Dave's Automotive. For the 3rd star, we have Connor Punnett, who had a goal in this game as he opened the scoring for the Barrie Colts to make it a 2-1 game back at the mid part of the first period. The 2nd star, we have Ethan Procession, who picked up 2 assists in this game on the first goal and on Romani's game-winning goal as well. And of course, number 1 will be number 15, Anthony Romani, with the game-winning goal to start things out. The shots on net for the total in that period were 10-9 in favor of Barrie for a total of 30 for North Bay, 26 for the Barrie Colts. As that will pretty much wrap it up for us here as the Battalion pick up yet another victory as we look ahead to the week ahead. The next game that we see will be the Erie Otters come to town on Thursday, which will be our next Battalion broadcast. That'll be Thursday evening, a 7 o'clock start. We'll be starting broadcasting around 6:50 p.m. So for everybody here, for Ben Longer, producer, Courtney Kenny, and Derek Lindemann, I am Ben Sargent saying have a great, fantastic rest of your night and enjoy the Super Bowl and drink responsibly, of course, as once again, keep your eye on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.